It's time! Hello, hello, everybody! Hello, hello! It's time! It's time! It's time! Hello, everyone! Oops, kind of just scaring you with a full view of our book reading here window. That's for later. Welcome, everybody, to our daily Limbus Company Mirror Dungeon, ID study, and book reading. Today is the special episode of the entire thing. Not only is our 96th one, it is the episode where we finally can shard Nursefather Rhodia and Apprentice Heathcliff, because I'm saving my lunacy hoard here for Walpurgis just since it has been teased. So, who's ready for some delicious lore? I am. So let's get down into it. Let's get extracting. Start with Heathcliff, shall we? We need some shards. So let's get some shards. Right now we have 43 shards for him. Let's toss into the random boxes because I have no use for them. And let's toss. How many we got right now? 50. Let's toss. Oh, cough. Let's toss 100 boxes. See how it goes. There is Heathcliff. 100 boxes. That's 200. We're gonna need at least 100 more, or 50. Well, let's throw 100. Why not? 100 more for Heathcliff. That is 183. We got our 439. We're probably gonna need a few more for the uptime, but I don't mind. Let's go get him. Isn't this nice? Isn't just this fantastic? We can just get him. We can just buy him right off the gate. No jokes, no nothing. Just click here, confirm, and boom, it's ours. He's so fucking angry, man. But you took me in, put a roof over my head, fed me, taught me this bloody incredible sword fighting style. The sort of a lowly vagrant like me would never have a chance to learn. I know that, shite, I know that, but is this how the rest of my life is gonna go? This is the Heathcliff that is suffering the most, I think. One of the, at least. Alright, let's uptie him, level him up, and get him into the team. Welcome to the facility, Heathcliff. Lucio Heathcliff. Let's get you to nice and powered up to level 60. Show you some tickets. There we go. Nice and powerful. And then let's uptie you to max. We need shards. Shards. We're all kind of low on tread. Let's sacrifice some Fausts here. I throw 100 Fausts. I got plenty of Fausts. And we can't shard Faust for the upcoming Walpurgis. Here we go. Time for lore. Time for background lore of the ID. Let's learn a bit about Lucio before he got turned into an Italian kebab. Hello, OG5K. Alright, so I did this before, and I'm gonna do it again. Give me a second. I need to find the right thing here. I think it was this one. I haven't had the chance to practice this, so
come on. There we go. You might recognize this one as my announcer voice. I've been using the voice filter for this, and I am going to use it, well, for the rest of the reading. So we're ready, ladies and gentlemen, for the backstory of Lucio Heathcliff. She leans forward, going for the kill. I see it then, in balance. A split-second opening. Narrow, but an opportunity nonetheless. It's the only pathway to the impossible future I had imagined tens of thousands of times in my mind. The future I had put off time and again, now merely milliseconds away, waiting for me to seize it. Maybe I can end it now. Maybe this is my chance. That wandering thought cuts deeply through my psyche. As possessed by some ghost, I raise my sword arm.
You?
I blink. Before I knew it, the sword in my hand had run through Master's heart. It wasn't as if I had a momentary burst of determination, no. My body moved on its own, like a creature flinching and curling up just moments before a brutal thrashing. Only this time, it took the shape of a sword driven outward.
You little Heathcliff, you dare betray me? Anything?
Her eyes widen, almost bulging falling out of their sockets with shock and resentment. I look on quietly, trying to capture every last detail as Master screams what will be her last words. I thought maybe I would feel the urge to pour out my anger on her, laying into her all the resentment I held in my heart. But I find neither there. Unlike all those times I imagined it, there is no catharsis, no laughter. Not even the sudden urge of tears welling at the corners of my eyes. Nothing. Nothing but silence. All that noise in my head, gone. It's so quiet up there that even my heartbeat feels sedated. Ah!
Well, not a bad hell to throw yourselves into.
Like an ungrateful hound, I sank my fangs into the jugular of the woman who raised me. But this didn't feel like something I'd come to regret down the line. As to why that may be, I suppose I must retrace this tale from the very beginning, starting with Yoshihide, the woman who has brought this hellish scene to the House of Spiders. The Nursefathers hardly got along amongst themselves. It did not take long for me to learn as much after my arrival at the House of Spiders. Master spent most days hurling profanities at the other Nursefathers, and they would always return the favor by shooting demeaning looks at her as she drunkenly stumbled around. Whenever their look of contempt fell on her, and fall harsh as they did, she would snap at me instead, picking apart my behavior to find the tiniest fault and slapping me across the face. I used to believe it was punishment for my lack of propriety, but, well, it's become rather obvious now that she just needed a punchbag to vent her frustrations on. Though the Nursefathers were far from fond of each other, there was one exception. The Nursefather of the Pinky. They were all careful around her. That woman whose face was always shrouded under a veil. The middle Nursefather, whenever she left the house for whatever reason, would never forget to bring fruits or health supplements for the Pinky Nursefather. And the Index Nursefather prepared and brought her delicious food every meal, or sometimes sat by the front door of her room to read her a book. Even the Ring Nursefather would sometimes hesitate and pace in front of her corridor, before finally deciding to slip a neatly folded message under the door that he had completed a new piece of art. My master, the Thumb Nursefather, also seemed to harbor a similar affection for the veiled woman. The difference was that she did not seem willing to go and see the Pink Nursefather herself, whether because she could not be bothered to do so or couldn't swallow her own pride. She'd always send me instead to check in on the Pinky Nursefather and deliver the news back to her. It was hardly any trouble, but I never liked doing it. It always made my skin crawl for whatever reason. So, she has sent you here again. Oh, that's the...
Switch up. I sent you here again. Sinclair, see your fellow apprentice away, if you would. I am not in the mood to receive a guest. It will be done, Master. Pray walk with this humble self of mine, Heathcliff. Master has no wish to converse with anyone today.
There was always a look of pity in her eyes that gleamed from behind the veil. Pity meant for me, for Sinclair, and all of us apprentices. Why would the prisoner of the House of Spiders, forced to helplessly watch the fast approaching end of her own life, still have pity to spare for us? None of the apprentices seemed to know the answer to that question. Not even Sinclair, her own apprentice and caretaker. I had long given up on having that part of the mystery answered. But, as it turns out, whenever Master began to ramble, she had a hard time stopping herself. It was one of those days when Master beat me until the bones of my limbs cracked and fractured. This time because I accidentally spoke too casually to Miss Don Quixote, having mistaken her to be a fellow titleless apprentice and not an officially anointed proxy of the Index. Downing a few bottles of liquor had activated her tongue, and she began telling me another story. She could not end. I braced myself, expecting another long-winded recounting of the smoke war, only to be struck by something else entirely. It was about her golden ticket.
You got a tank thicket, you hear me? Which is the only reason you didn't up another dead vagrant in the back streets. It's all cause of what happened to Ticket that she ran away from home. After she ran away from home. Ran away from home, Master? The very same who fled the house after completing all those tasks single-handedly? Fuck, Heathcliff! Didn't really have to bring up that bitch when I'm drinking! You sure know how to make a good booze taste like shit, don't ya? Apologies, master. Bitch takes after her mommy, that's why. Yeah, come to think of it, Ticket. Couldn't take it either. Scampered off alone into the wide, unforgiving old out there, as if that place was any kinder. See, though the House of Spiders is kind of like a retirement home for the has-beens, we ain't nobodies, you know. This is the Fingered Casino, and they're all waiting for the jackpot to drop. You catch my drift? All 5 fingers who got their eyes on their project, on this project. Someone with such aptitude just up and leaving the House of Spiders? You can imagine the kind of shit that stirred up. The fingers tracked her down? Yeah, the thumb, the index, and all kinds of motherfuckers in the city has to offer went snapping at her heels until she couldn't take it anymore and returned home. Coming home with a baby in her arms was a bit fucked up, but whatever, right? She wasn't dead, the project was now back on track. Or so we thought. Because it was too late or something, according to Yiseng. That's when I first learned that the pinky motherfuckers can't use another relic once they've chosen one for themselves. And the ticket? Well, she picked up the Dihu Star's blade over the Tianxia Stars. We were fucked beyond any chance of redemption. Whatever our bosses ended up dishing out, we had to take it. Good thing she ended up passing on that unique aptitude to that mongrel brat of hers. So, we decided to start over from scratch with a new girl, spinning the things along with a workaround. Ah, then the new girl is the one who's currently away from the house? Yeah, Yoshihide, that bitch. What if she should to simply never return, Master? Ha, I'm not worried. She'll be back. 'Cause she's got something Ticket doesn't.
And that's all she ever said on the matter. She quietly downed a few more bottles before sleep took her. Something Ticket doesn't have, but Yoshihide does. It was a riddle without a clue, let alone an answer. The first thread that formed the solution came later, when I had the opportunity to face Yoshihide as her textbook.
I won't lose, not to you. I've watched and heard the same things you've been taught until they are etched into my memory. Get out of my way. I'm not wasting any more time on my inferior copy. Oi, lass, let me ask you something.
Yoshihide had sought asylum in an upstart enterprise called the Limbus Company. I found the records of the assistance they provided her, securing an infiltration route into the House of Spiders, in-depth research projects into relics and the like. In short, it seemed that at the time that the company was committed to helping Yoshihide. When I'd first begun my investigation at the behest of my master, it felt as though I was uncovering the fringes of an unknown, significant force gearing up to help Yoshihide strike the House of Spiders down with overwhelming might. But the more my investigation progressed, it soon became obvious that no such calamity would come to pass. Limbus Company refused to provide Yoshihide any further support beyond that. And they'd even called the so-called Operation Spider-Pyre. No, and they even canceled the so-called Operation Spider-Pyre. So, what is it that keeps her moving?
Why are you clawing your way back home anyway? After the way they treated you. Why?
Now that her plan to involve an external party had fallen true, there was no chance that Yoshihide, no matter how hard she tried, would be able to overcome the combined might of all Nursefathers and Apprentices. Yoshihide had to have known that. She was no fool, but she pursued the back door to the House of Spiders nonetheless, as though it always had been her plan to take on the House of all by herself.
Because in that hell awaits someone who is more precious to me than anything in the world. And the monsters I hate just as much. Because without severing all of those threads that bind me, I can never truly be free from there. Why don't you run away yourself? It's obvious they're treating you like an animal. I can see it in you. That's how bad it is. That's...
I could not answer Yoshihide's question, even as our duel came to an end with her shoving me to the ground. How could I, when even my own heart was foreign to me then? When I did not recognize all the times I had decided to put an end to it, only to find convenient excuse to dally and postpone. The first time I truly began to ponder Yoshihide's question was after the Pinky Nursefather and Sinclair had betrayed the House of Spiders.
You serious about going with that lady, turning your back on us? Come on, I know your master don't beat you like mine does, but she's hardly been kind to you. Because this moment, had I allowed to pass, would have been lingered for the rest of my life with a profound regret. What? My master treated me with such aversion, yes. Yet it was not for the lack of affection, as it was with your own Nursefather. It is only that she has seen far too often what happens to those she cares about. Thus, I pose the self-same question to you. Why do you pledge your loyalty to her still? You have already done all the duty that true propriety demands of you. What more ought you repay? I have? Me? Let the end of your wandering be swift and conclusive. When that time comes, even the simplest causality shall appear opaque, even the path laid before you cloaked as though under a haze. My humble self shall now depart. Pray, do not pursue us.
I have already given her all that my heart could pour out, and I have served her with utter propriety that my mind could afford. If all of that were still insufficient to fill the void in her heart, then what could? What she wanted, fame, honor, recognition, I could not give. Acknowledgement from a thing so lowly as myself would mean nothing to her. Then, if there really is no other way, I sink deeper into the well of my own mind. And as its bed I find Yoshihide's parting words to me. Will Master one day come to regret her actions and change herself?
No, she won't.
Should I choose to leave here and now, would I find true freedom?
No, I can never truly be free like that. Maybe the only way to really be free is to end it all with my own hands.
Even on that day, I could not say out loud what or whom it was that I wanted to end. But whether that was my master or myself, there was a low but impulsive voice, a tight pull from the pit of my stomach, telling me maybe I could finally put an end to this, whatever that looked like. So, I put a makeshift splint on my broken leg and hobbled through the back door. And that brings us to the present. First came the self-loathing. Then, the exhilaration of finally having gotten it over with. And now, that all was said and done, came aimlessness.
What do I do now?
I stand before Yoshihide and watch as she endlessly severs away at the world around her. There is no light behind her eyes. A sad end to someone who has lost the most precious thing in the world to her. A living corpse animated only by its unquenchable wrath and hatred until even that fury lost any meaning it once had.
I don't want to be here anymore.
This place has a way of driving people completely mad. Suddenly, a terrible omen strikes through me. If I dally here any longer, it will mean my ruin. I hurriedly scan around me for what remains of the house. After all, the back streets makes a cold home for the poor, no matter what terrible violence I have suffered here.
I ain't sure which one of these will fetch me a nice coin. Guess I'll pocket them shiny bits and those expensive bottles of...
My heart sinks the moment I catch a glimpse of her liquor bar. A mere glance and the floodgate of my memories cracks open with a little resistance. I recall the sensation of those same glass bottles breaking into 1,000, lacerating shards against my head, and Master downing bottle after bottle like she was throwing back water. Revulsion, too, rears its head. Reality settles around me, and I am nothing but a disgusting traitor who has acted out of impulse and run his sword through his master's heart, all for a desperate struggle to end it all.
Ah, I see. If I am to be happy...
I shoved everything that seemed even remotely expensive into my pack. I took Master's swords, her eye too. I don't know if I'll pawn them off or use them myself, but they're questions for another day. Today, I make a decision for myself. Yoshihide continues to cut away at nothing and everything all at once. And there lies a cold, lifeless corpse at my feet. I'll probably find more dead bodies not so far from here.
Yep, I know what I must do. It's never been clearer than this. If I do this, It'll all go away forever. No matter what I look at, it won't come back.
Free of desires, free of remorse, feeling the tangled web of emotions that once bound me fall away, unraveling. I leave my home in silence.
That was pretty cool. Sorry. Let me go check what you guys said. I wanted to do that full narration, so I didn't have the OBS open. Verse 11, weekday, I gotta go bed. See you around the QMD. Apprentice, because there can be more whack characters that are absolutely powerful like Xavier. Listovius, hello. Hello, Moises. Hello, Akuya. Hello, everyone. I love Power Scaling Wiki because it's like gamer. Before I finish the MD 30 adventure run, I'm in Limbus with a thumb. Do congratulations. We might do that in the future soon. All right, we have to update him one more time, but we are out of tread. We need a lot of tread, so we're gonna sacrifice Ultises. 300 Ultises down the drain. Here we go. Ooh, sorry if I didn't pay attention to what you guys were talking. I will read everything you guys say. Do not worry. Just wanted to, you know, get the narration of this. Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Was it good? Tell me. Should I keep the narrator voice? Because that's something I wanted to try a little more, but I haven't been doing quite a lot. Right. Next thing we need is Rodion. So let's pop 300 boxes onto Rodion, and that's more than enough. Ooh, that might have been a little bit overkill. Alright, so lots of things to consider here. So it would seem that in the mirror world of the House of Spiders, Ryoshu was the daughter of the... No. Ryoshu brought a daughter back. It's still a little confusing. I still don't understand. So if I... Let's try to make sense of the things here. The Pink Nursefather existed. It wasn't Araya. Ryoshu left, joined Limbus company as usual, but she came back with a small child. But then, that's what I'm, yeah. The House of Spiders Ryoshu is Araya. It's literally Araya. What happened is that she left. She was, you know, the daughter of Shiomi as normal. She left, and then she claimed the relic of her mother, the Dihu Starblade. Cool. When she came back, she had a small daughter, and the Nursefathers decided to continue the project with the daughter by putting her in the time vault. The mistreatment became harsher, etc., etc. So they put tiny Araya into the vault, made her age up, and then that's what we got here. That's Blade of the House of Spiders Ryoshu. Interesting. So Ryoshu here is literally Araya, but Ryoshu in that world became the Pinky Nursefather because she claimed the Dihu Starblade rather than Tiancha, which is the, you know, the blade Ryoshu currently has, as you can see here, Tiancha Star. Very interesting. Let's get Rhodia and see what she has for us, shall we? Then we're gonna review their kits. I love extracting things like that. I've already waited way past that. Anyone ought to put up with it. And with them, when I thought I was finally getting my ass out of this goddamn cold, what happened? My ticket turned into blank crap paper. All because of that mongrel brat. Ha! Give me a fucking break. No wonder she's losing her shit. No wonder she couldn't use Shin. Because this isn't Valentina. This is Valentina, but worse. Interesting. Let's get her up to speed. Alright. Here's some food for you. Eat your tickets, Rodeo. So yummy. Full of tickets. Let's uptie you real quick. And let's get into the uptie story. So excited for this. Again, once I start reading, I will not stop. So you guys want to comment on something, go ahead. I will read after. Here we go. Say this because I have to keep my voice changer on silent. You have not entered an entanglement. That's a relief. Relief? Fuck that, ticket. Exactly which part of that is a relief? We got nothing. No results, no progress, nothing at all. Not even a half-decent excuse for the central bastards who wouldn't stop crawling up my ass. This isn't what I came back for. I said I would do as I was told, that I wouldn't dare think of leaving again. So why? Why must you people do this to Yoshihide? I understand the sorrow that has condensed within you. Yet, now that you've sought refuge under our wings, fleeing the shadow of the fingers, you know as I do, that no gentle road remains within the arithmetic of those circumstances. Ha! Fine, Ticket. Let's get right down to it. Wanna know why we're doing this, huh? It's your fault. Don't you know this whole mess is in on ya? Wandering out there chasing some stupid-ass star that wasn't even supposed to be yours? You didn't just make a bad call. You made the worst call, choosing the Dehu Star Blade over the Tiansha Star. We didn't have to lock that damn brat up in the time vault if you'd just listened. That would be enough, Rodion. And I do hope you will understand as well, dearest daughter of ours. This will be a far better prospect for that child, too. Yoshihide's aptitude to sense the flow of time is impressive indeed, perhaps even comparable to yours. If we'd had enough absolute time, perhaps we could have gradually let the perspective settle within her. But we do not, which is why we must press the process forward, even if we must induce a temporal entanglement. Oh, correction here, correction here. It looks like... This is a story about... No. Let me continue. Let's see. Let us check again in 2 days. You're going to put her through that again? No, I'll take her place. Oh, fucking hell. Couldn't listen to another second of that crap. I've had it with this sub-story routine. Buddy, can it, will ya? I will knock her out. Shut your trap and mind your own business. Rodion, where are you going? I don't need to tell you anything. You like to wander off without telling anyone shit too, don't you? Go fuck yourself. I'll take a screenshot of that. Beautiful. It was like just yesterday you were sobbing and sniveling into your mommy's arms. And now you're all grown up. Stuff a brat in a time vault for a while and it'll shoot right up like a freaking lid. Hey, does that vault come with bedtime milk or on a tap or something? I've been wondering what you were up to, booze, huh? Figures. Those bottles look old as hell. Didn't the stuff inside go bad? Ha! Still a brat on the inside, huh? Now this is the kind of stupid that pisses me off. Booze doesn't go bad. Ever heard of aging? Alright then. Never thought that stuttering with her ego and her clanking finger could stop you anyway. Not gonna say that because YouTube does not like me saying certain words. And I don't particularly consider this a slur, but what I consider a slur or not is not what the AI automation considers it. So, sorry, not gonna say that. But the other Nursefathers, no way in hell you whack them all and got this far on your own. Heathcliff carefully chimed in to explain what he'd witnessed. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. Ah, fuck it. Too late. The Pinky Nursefather and Sinclair, they betrayed and turned on us. Is she dead? Not the last time I saw her, Master. She was still engaged in a battle. Yeah? That's whatever then. The other Nursefathers are all washed up morons, but they wouldn't lose to Ticket. Believe what you want, you get to meet the other three in hell soon enough. Ask them what happened then. Anyhow, Pinky Nursefather? Did another one join our ranks while I was gone? What? Wait a minute, that sword? Why the hell do you have that sword? I realized facing you with Polymerton style would be a losing bet. So I learned a new sword fighting style. The sword was given to me then. And who gave it to you? By the way, I'm making the Rodion voice I do during Crime and Punishment because the same character. I'm not gonna try and do a female voice. Oh, don't bother hunting them down. I don't remember well. They are already dead. Ha!
An errant rage swelled within Rodion. She trembled like she was about to burst, but she didn't know why. She couldn't. But rather than asking herself what had set the fire to this wrath, or why it burned with such inexorable intensity...
Don't even have any idea who you forgot. What you threw away to get this far. From the first day her baby hands held a sword, all the way to the day she brought you here. You got any idea how I honed that ticket of mine day after day?
Rodion chose to fire that rage at the one who had dared to speak those words.
Ungrateful little bitch! How dare you forget my ticket! And next up for the interview, our very own war hero, Rodion Bognatelli takes the... What are you hiding in the corner? In that corner? That's not like you at all. Whoa, is that a picture you're looking at? Don't tell me it's your family photo or some shit like that. You know, well, we know what we always say is, Rodion. Soldiers looking longingly at their family photos are signing themselves up to 99% chance of getting killed out there. Get the fuck out of here and take that dumbass superstition with you. People of my caliber don't die over stupid crap like that. Oh wow, that's a hella swagger you've got there. Stacked up like a damn skyscraper. Well, guess your record speaks for itself. How's your winning streak looking now? Counting formal duels and one-on-one battlefield bouts, 13 and consecutive, huh? Get the damn number right if you're keeping score. It's 15. Damn, that's gotta be the highest winning streak on our front line, isn't it? The poor bastards that you offered were nobodies either. Every one of them was a big name with big game. Like it could have ended any other way. So, who's the kid in the photo? Your daughter? Yeah. Gotta thank your lucky star she doesn't look anything like her mama, huh? What was that? Hey, easy there. That was a compliment. Kid looks like a sweetheart, that's all. Smart and well behaved too, I bet. Unlike, well, I've been too damn nice to you because you're a class 5 staff member, haven't I? Son of a bitch, the old me would have ripped an arm off ya for a good lesson, you know that? Back in my day, I was underboss, Soto Capo, yeah, we know. But you're not one now, are you? Not for long, once the war is over. There it is again. That's enough jinxing to lose us the battle. Still, a winning streak this good? You've practically earned the Soto Capo title back already. Don't worry, we'll be groveling at your feet when that happens, making damn sure to add a miss before Rodion. Miss Rodion? Nah, Miss Rodia will do. What's the difference? It's got a different echo. Apparently Miss Rodia doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. Echo? Yep, something ticket, my daughter says sometimes. Miss Rodion, an enemy was spotted emerging from their camp. Judging by the broadcast tab, they're probably preparing to air a single combat. Please get ready to... Which motherfucker are you talking about? An elite employee of L Corp here. Guess that's my coup then. Alright, you're up. Our fearless war hero, obviously about to add another glorious victory under her belt. So just be the cameraman and enjoy the show from the sidelines. Haha, yeah, do that. Make sure you keep your eyes open, and don't you forget to give me a big hand once I'm done. Rodion Bognatelli is going to strut back with another flashy victory. Textbook. You stay put and keep your eyes open, you hear me? If I may, Master, I also can... I said eyes, not your damn mouth. Don't flap it at me, don't talk back. Do what I tell ya, exactly as you're told. I'll have to haul that little bitch back and drill the Parliament style into her from baby step. Here we go again. Another lifetime of motherfucking work. If you get your ass killed too, then who's left to help me do out that shit, huh? Huh? I wasn't thinking. My sincerest apologies, Master. How many times do I have to repeat myself? Don't think hard, don't think easy, don't even think of thinking. And just do as you're told, capiche? Enzer, capiche? Yes, ma'am. It hurts. Not this crap again. It was textbook. I slapped you, not you.
Yoshihide touched her own cheek, as if Rodion backhand had landed on her instead. Her future. Her past. All the strands of time she might never reached had perhaps floated into her eyes, leaving their mark in her vision. She could no longer tell from which strand that pain had come. Only the stinging sensation remained, vividly and undeniably extant.
I have to scrape out every last trace. Every last trace.
Trapped within the entangled strands of time, Yoshihide could no longer recognize the present pleasant than now for what it was. Only pain and agony remained etched in her. Only hatred and resentment for her Nursefather.
I'll cut everything up, sever and burn all of it just because I want to.
And so she kept swinging her blade in desperation. The Palermitan style is indeed a masterful school of swordsmanship. But why does the House of Spiders need it? It was not a question Rodin had never asked herself before. Nor had she fully rid herself of her doubts about the vaguely phrased purpose of the house, the creation of the blade that cuts through all. At one point, she had tried to dig down the root of the matter herself. After failure upon failure, however, Rodin chose not to climb back up, but to keep sinking to the endless pit. An endless pit where she didn't have to understand the purpose of all things in the House of Spiders. Nevertheless, Rodion never stopped imparting the Palermitan style to her students. It began as an outlet for her frustration, a vague hope that if the girl could at least learn the Palermitan style to perfection, it might make some damn difference. Then it changed. The girl absorbed everything taught to her like a sponge, and Rodion found herself liking the way the child stuck with her, pressing close to a woman everyone else avoided like the plague. But by the end, teaching the Palermitan style was no longer a lesson. It was the last thing left for her to do, and she had to run out of all other excuses. At least in those days, when Rodion raised her hand against the girl she'd thought of her as a daughter, her ticket, she had still bothered to dress it up with justifications. However, thin they were. You broke the Tom's code of conduct. You moved too slowly. You are not doing as you're told. You have the nerve to cry when you're done nothing right. However, when she finally learned that even the ticket she put her trust in was not a golden one she dreamed of, she could not contain the rage boiling up inside her. Justifications, excuses really, no longer mattered before her anger. She lashed out and struck the new girl without any particular reason. Never once did Rodion understand that the one who had set aflame the few scant threads of spider, the threads that might have led her to the golden jet she'd spent so long craving.
I'm sorry, please tell me why you're hitting me so I can do better. Weakling.
Was none other than herself.
Weakling? That's fair. Just look at me. Can't say I've got much of a comeback. Still better than the other weaklings who were out cold or croak. Tell me what happened while you can still stink straight. Well, you did manage to burn off the vermin's wings. At least you'd accomplished something before you ended up like this.
The Lord of Flies. Reflexes bordering on precognition with extraordinary combat capability. A monstrosity armed with corrosive fluid that can melt anything, and the ability to swoop in and out of battle with airborne, hit-and-run tactics. G-Corp's decisive weapon clearly set outside the average standards of war weaponry. But other wings also possess capabilities that more than match the Lord of Flies' own. The Lord of Flies had already been slain a couple of times. First by the endless waves of R-Corp mercenaries, and once more by T-Corp's unthinkable inventions and other prestigious fixer offices. Before long, however, it would appear on the front lines again. And once command decided that the lost exchange ratio was no longer within the acceptable range, research attempts began for ways to counter T-Corp's game changer. And they discovered that in its moment of death, the Lord of Flies was behind a unique entity known as the Maggot Prince.
The higher up didn't tell us what it takes for the Maggot Prince to metamorphose into the Lord of Fly. But the vermin won't stop spawning back if it's not killed before transforming. Is that it? Yeah. To stop that, we had to limit as much of its mobility as possible and remove any chance of the Maggot Prince to hide or escape. The new association flames burned away on a pair of wings in the infestation zone, as planned. Our ranks broke halfway through and things got real ugly for a bit. But I managed to deal with the vermin's remaining wings before you got here. Lucky, huh? Well, since this is as far as luck would take me.
Half his upper body melted away. The fixer directed a bitter gaze around him. Countless soldiers had fought beyond their limits, but they were nowhere near felling G-Corp's bioweapon. And the only reinforcement that arrived at that hell was a single fighter. dawn had begun to settle on the battlefield. With eyes full of doubt, the fixer finally gave voice to the question lodged in his throat.
Do you think you can finish that monster off? Hey.
Rodion stepped forward with a savage smirk. She swept her gaze over the battlefield like she already owned it, standing straight with the arrogance of a hero, marching at the head of a triumphal procession. Each firm step she took spoke of an unshakable confidence that she would win the fight.
Don't you know who I am? Of course I do. I've seen you fight before. Rodion of Famiglia Bonatelli. There isn't anyone at this front who doesn't know your name. Huh, so you do know. Then stop fidgeting like some scared puppy and get your ass to rear.
Anyone who had seen Rodion fight a duel, even once, knew better than to dismiss her arrogance for mere bluff. Because they knew that every duel she fought would end with a head lopped off, followed by the spectacular flourish of the swords. Rodion swords, always.
You know, I'm different from the rest of you, Cannon Father. I don't lose duels. Never have, never will.
Those on the front lines had no choice but to trust in the confidence exuding from the way Rodion's coattails billowed behind her steps. In battle, knowledge bears a weight no fighter can afford to ignore. What kind of opening is the opponent prone to target? Which foot do they withdraw first when dodging the blow? What options do they reach for when backed into a corner? Which sword stance comes out when they have to measure each breath in a prolonged duel? Know how the opponent aims the edge of their blade, and the duel will lean into one's favor.
Her bad habit rubbed off on you. I suppose you really are cut from her cloth. What's with that stupid look, dumbass? Though you have thought you'd have a shot because you're relying on sword fighting style I didn't teach you,
Hoping to keep Rodion from predicting her movements, so she either tries sheathing her sword to reassume another stance.
I'm the one who taught your mummy dear her sword fighting style, you know?
Only for Rodion's rapier to intercept her and cut the attempt short.
I just can't with greenhorns who hadn't had a taste of the war. Put what you learned to use. Don't just blindly swing that sword. Do it right. Shut up. I don't want any advices from you. You can't close the distance, and I'm not some stick-skulled idiot like Otis who prefers hits with the augmentation tattoos of hers. What's your damn plan with that long-ass sword draw, Showing off? Look at me, I can even cut your space. Is that it? You're hardly in the position to play calm, are you? I know that eye of yours is close to overheating.
The primer strikes and the acceleration round fires. It's the opening strike that won Rodion's victory in countless duels. Her rapier shoots forward in a blink, piercing through the erratic movement and straight into the heart of the Lord of Flies. A fighter of mediocre skill would have died then and there, unable to defend itself against the trust. But the same could not be said for the entity she is facing.
For fuck's sake, your wings are burned off. Could you at least act like you're wobbling around, asshole? I'd have to move at least twice as fast before this rapier can so much graze that bastard. You talk too much.
In that instant, her precognition twists and bends. The prediction she had seen mere seconds ago is overridden by something entirely different. The eye darts frantically from one direction to the other. The direction from which the wind blows, the density of the clouding dust, the faint fluttering of her sleeves. The eye braids every last clue together and derives a single possible outcome from it. It's a computation that has never once betrayed Rodion's expectations.
It dodged.
The instant Rodion registered the attack, she snapped her head aside. A single black line sliced past her face. Cold brushed across her cheek. A few strands of hair were cut and scattered into the air as Rodion scoffed in disgust.
Ha! Disgusting fucking fly. So that's what you were firing. Hooking up half-digested corpses? That's some nasty shit right there.
Rodion's gaze followed the mid-shot to where the corrosive fluid had pooled, hissing as it ate into the ground. Several corpses lay half-submerged in it, their forms lowering apart into a shapeless spoke. The smoke rising from the revolting mass smelled like rotting human flesh, a stench too foul to put into words. At first, a fist came driving straight towards her. Rodion caught its force with the tip of her blade and diverted it aside. She read each erratic flurry of attacks, motion by motion, driving her rapier into the opening. Whenever she realizes the monster has seen through her path, she changes the arc of her attack with the recoil of her bullets. The building recoil is all it takes. With each clash, the Palermitan style accelerates. And eventually, Rodian's footwork, which had been trailing behind one pace at a time, began to catch and lock into the rhythm of the Lord of Flies' assault. In one swift turn, the Lord of Flies flips around to Rodian's back and attacks from a dead angle, aimed to break through her advantage. However,
Gotcha right where I want you, Prey.
the instant that chilly metallic click rang out, doubt flickers in the entity's eyes. The Lord of Flies didn't predict wrong. It was simply that, for one brief moment, Rodian's eyes had seen farther ahead. The computation predicts the future outcome more perfectly than her opponent. Rodian fires a lone bullet that had been loaded in place of an acceleration round, a fragmenting armor-piercing ammunition. The bullets tore forward into a deafening shot. For the first time since the duel began, the Lord of Flies lost its balance and crashed hard into the ground.
What's wrong, Bug? That one got under your shell? Mere underling of a thumb. You dare? Bad news for ya. This one's gonna hurt just a little more.
Jack's metal shrapnel flew into every direction, ripping through everything nearby. My win. Convinced of her victory, Rodian moved in at once to collect the insect's head. But in that instant, one of the Lord of Flies' arms ballooned up right in front of her face.
Ah, shit! Your reaction has slowed.
The more variables there were to predict, and the harder those variables became to read, the faster the arrow recognition would overheat. Rodian had already survived many close calls in this duel by drawing answers from its torso. But when the overheated eye failed her for just a heartbeat, corrosive fluid exploded from the Lord of Flies and ate through her leg. The acid of the Lord of Flies is no less lethal than the deadliest venoms out there. The vicious wound it leaves is the kind of no common treatment could mend, the kind no budget price singularity could patch up. Still, not every useful troll soldier chooses the very center of the battlefield as their state. If it is, seemed to have been a development well within Rodian's prediction.
Ah, shit. But you know, the thing is, I'm actually pretty fucking important. Got a big name and all.
As she fished out a single special bullet that a certain useful someone from command had given her prior to the duel.
People of my caliber, we carry on a these just in case.
A silver of green light flashes across the cylinder, and the bullet burrows straight into Rodian's heart. From the bullet's flow, tears shed by a being in another being's instead. And now it coursed through Rodian's veins. Hela Poesis bullet, K-Corp's singularity, condensed to its most potent form, mends her melted leg in the blink of an eye. And it doesn't stop there. The tears also restore the overheated eye according to the original state Rodian pictures in her mind.
I thought that was the end of me. Surprised? Didn't expect that, did ya? I'm good as new now. Really gets under your skin, huh? Join the winning side if you're jealous.
Although she trilled the line out like a victory cry, Rodian wasn't exactly in a position to brag. She had already used every decent high-grade round she had, and without the soldados to provide her extra supplies, there was no other crutch she could rely on. Her body had been restored to perfect condition, but her chances had not. Using the Hela Poesis bullet didn't mean she could suddenly come up with a breakthrough plan to defeat her opponent. Despite the odds being against her, Rodian's fighting spirit did not so much as waver. She held up her sword again and brandished it in the same spectacular flourish.
Fucking dog shit. Keep swinging that thing or you're gonna become dumb, you know? There won't be a damn thing left to remember even if you win. I know. That's why I'm severing it all. Nothing must be allowed to remain here. Not memory, not time, not even the heart to hold them. That is the ending you, who have made me into who I am, and I will meet.
An honest one-on-one duel. The Palermitan style is known to accelerate the longer a duel lasts. A duel of this kind couldn't be more ideal for a practitioner of that style, but...
It's goddamn blade trail.
The chaotic trajectories of the sword and the myriad blade trails carved into the very air put a brake on Rodian's acceleration. The more her movements accelerated, the more the severed space around her closed in, leaving her less and less room to stand. Despite the odds being against her, Rodian's fighting spirit did not so much as waver. She held up her swords again and brandished it in the same spectacular flourish. As long as the acceleration could bring me to the future I foresaw, Rodian's mind began to race. He had no idea what the Lord of Flies had learned while fighting the employees of other wings and Sixers Association. But it was easy to guess that the vermin was blindsided by the fact that a bullet to the heart had actually healed her instead of killing her immediately.
You make too much noise. Can you not fight quietly?
Rodian did not bother putting that thought into words. His opponent's killing blows will always come for the head, the brain. Putting that trio fact into account on her own was enough to slow down the overload on the Eye of Recognition. A clash, two, then three. With every clash, the sound of sword and gunshot began to lag further behind the motion itself. The future her eye had shown her drew closer and closer. The sword movement of the parlor mitten style began to gain speed. The rapier, and the blade, and Rodian herself too. At the end of the next instant, the duel was wrapped up once and for all, with a singular point drilling into the neck of the Lord of Flies.
And the hunt comes to a close. Ah.
A singular point drilling through scores of after images. The lightning-fast attack can neither be severed nor avoided, nor parried. Rodian believed in the force that directed the arc of Yoshihide's blade, the force of hatred and hostility toward her and the other Nursefathers. The decisive blow would be delivered not by the Hugh Star blade, but instead by a weapon that would guarantee the utter annihilation of her enemy. The Tianxia Star blade. The pregnation born of that belief burst the waves of time rushing over Yoshihide and correct the reverse causality once more.
And the hunt comes to a close.
In that split second before death, a flash of insight finds Rodian. Her lips curled with a triumphant smile. Victory was within reach. But in that same instant, there was another in the corridor, who had been waiting for the opportunity born from that very same precognition. Only a fellow practitioner of the Palermitan style could have spotted that opportunity. It was an attack from a blind spot that could neither be predicted nor blocked unless the eye had room to compute the variable of another enemy. The arc of the sword, perfected over thousands of repetitions, pierced through Rodian's heart. The heartbeat of the Nursefather began to still into a faint echo. And only then, the eyes of the boy, whose body still bore the bruises of his master's beatings.
You little heatless! You dare betray me after everything?
Finally stirred with a flicker of living life. Let me switch over to the normal microphone. That was
good. Ah. That was fun. That was fun. I liked it. That was really fun. We got a nice little, what's it called? A nice little flashback of the Smoke War, which is very nice. We got to see the Lord of Flies. And it's something I need to adapt to my own tabletop, which I haven't, but I should, which is gimmick attacks. Not like gimmick like the enemy has a gimmick, but rather there are certain things that no matter how good of a fighter you are, unless you can completely evade it and negate it, it's going to hurt. It's going to kill you. It's going to kill you good. Like acid that can go through concrete, that's gonna kill you. All right. Ooh, 1 hour to read both of those. Ooh, that's gonna be a long one today, boys. But here we go. Let's begin with our ID analysis. Let me just turn on my desk fan here because it's kind of hot. Ooh, that was fun. That was fun. I enjoyed every bit of that. All right, let's begin with the ID reveal. Finally, took a while, huh? Here we go. The House of Spiders, the Thumb Apprentice. Heathcliff. 260 HP, 4 to 7 speed, 62 defense level, fatal to blunt, has the sins of lust, sloth, and wrath, with a clashable wrath, a clashable counter wrath, clashable guard, gloom, and a very powerful enhanced skill tree. Very Very nice. He has assist defense, which is going to be very nice. And I do believe this is the... How do you activate your assist defense, brother? Assist defense exclusive skill, okay. Clashable counter. How do we activate that? I guess we're gonna have to see soon. It's called Measuring Blade Read. Let's look at the passives first. That's the most important thing about the ID. Passives. Duello Desperado. It's it has three normal passives that require nothing to activate, so let's see. At base skill end against an enemy, if the target is defeated while having the duel escalates or any of its parts, gain 1 maturing textbook. If the main target isn't defeated, inflict 1 duel escalates on the main target. If there was a clash against the said main target using said base attack skill, inflict 2 the duel escalates on the main target instead. So when we attack someone and we don't kill him, we apply the duel escalate, which doesn't apply anything, is more of a mark. Can stack up to 5 times, and you can only gain 3 stacks per turn. Okay. If we kill them, we gain Maturing Textbook, which gives us a damage buff, a permanent damage buff, but it only stacks up to 2. It can gain 2 per turn, and it only stacks up to 3. Okay. So 10 plus stack times 5. So we can only get 3 stacks, so that's 15 plus 10. That's a 25% damage increase at max cap. Okay, nice. At clash start against a target that has dual escalates, heal SP equal to dual escalate stack on target, max 5 per turn. So we don't get the clash bonus from having dual escalates. I thought it was the whole gimmick of the Palamitten style. Ah, Desperate Struggle, here we go. If the House of Spiders that thumb Nursefather Rodion is on the field, activate the following. In the time Nursefather Rodion that has high recognition, hit an enemy with a base attack skill, and its attack end follow with La Spada di Palermo as an unopposed attack against a target, once per turn. Combat start when the Nursefather Rodion that has high recognition overhit is targeted by an enemy's unopposed skill. The Thumb Apprentice hit clip gains 1 assist defense. This assist defense activates only for the House of Spiders, the Nursefather Rodion, so he can get up to 2 assist defenses. That's very nice. Alright. Saikai the Thumb. If this unit is defeated at encounter start, or if this unit is defeated during the encounter, Blade of House of Spider Reroll gains the following effects: Entanglement and inflicts Tremor. Interesting. And now his active passive, Palermitten Style. Gain the following effects based on Maturing Textbook on self, and the duel escalates on the target. Deals more damage for the combined stacks. At 1 stack, Clash Power +1. At 2 stacks, base skills gain base power +1. At 3 stacks, on hit with a base skill, inflicts Sever Tendon, which inflicts base power -1 next turn. At 4 stacks, base skill gain another final power. At 5 stacks, base skills deals 15% more damage. The thing I think these all stack together so you can get up to 2 base power and 1 clash power. That means like extra 3 on all your attacks, plus the damage bonus, plus the enemy that is marked gain base power -1. That is basically a +4 by getting Mature Textbook and the dual escalates. You can only get 3 stacks of Maturing Textbook, and you can only get 5 stacks of the dual escalates. So technically you can fuel this by only using the dual escalates, or you can get kills during a fight to get more Maturing Textbook and activate this earlier. Very nice, very nice. So at 3 kills, if you let me just check that. Yeah, gain 1 Maturing Textbook. We can only gain 2 of these per turn. So if you get 3 kills, we only need to clash against a target twice to get the maximum effect out of this. Very nice. Takes less damage based on Maturing Textbook and the dual escalates. Okay, so we got this is eerily similar to Wild Hunt Heathcliff, where you wanna kill to get permanent buffs. If we kill a target that we have clashed against, we gain Maturing Textbook, which only stacks up to 3. And at 3 stacks, we're gonna gaining 1 clash power, 1 base power, and hitting we are gonna inflict Sever Tendon next turn, which is negative base power to the enemy. So they are excellent. They are more than excellent. I don't know what people were bitching about the skill 1 only applying Tremor and Burn. This is crazy good. In a 1-1 duels, this is the support passive. 1 ally with a fastest speed on Clash Wing using base attack skills inflicts +1 burn count on the target. Prioritize the thumb identities. If the ally is the thumb identity, inflicts 1 burn count and 1 tremor count instead. Combat start if there is only 1 enemy on the field for abnormalities at core. This effect inflicts 1 more burn count and tremor count. This is just fantastic for Thumb Mercil. Very nice. Let's take a look at his skills then, shall we? 3/4 2 coins slash lust. We know this blade, we know this dance, we know this song. That is an 11 roller with 2 levels of escalation based on burn and tremor. This rolls a 11, a 13, and a 15. Baseline skill 1 nowadays. Inflicts 2 burn, inflicts 1 tremor. It is a skill 1, so who cares? Skill 2, Kopi Sotani. It's a 4 base power, 4 coin power, 3 coins. It's a 16 roller with 2 levels of escalation, baby. So 16, 19, 22 based on burn and tremor on target. If the enemy has dual escalates, we apply more tremor. If we have maturing textbook or if the target has dual escalates, we burst the tremor on the target. Very nice. Inflicts 2 burn and 2 burn count, and 2 burn, 2 tremor count. Skill 3, Il Cazzettore. I don't know words in Italian. 5 base power with 4 coin power, 3 coins. That makes it a 17 roller slash rat. If the target has 5 dual escalates, we use our empowered skill 3 once per turn. We have 2 levels of escalation based on burn and tremor, so this nice 17 roller becomes a 20 and then a 23. Gain the following effect based on the dual escalate stack on target. More tremor potency, more tremor count, more potency, more count of burn, and deals more damage. If this unit has maturing textbook, or if the target has 3 dual escalates, all of our coins become unbreakable. On the 3rd coin, we deal more damage for every maturing textbook themselves. We amplitude conversion into tremor scorch, we tremor burst, and if we have maturing textbook, or if the target has 3 duels, we burst tremor twice again. Very powerful, very deadly. I like it a lot. And finally, Sezionatura di Servo. 5 base power, 3 coin power with 4 coins. That is a nice 17 roller again. Yes. 17 roller, but with 4 hits, hit harder. It gains attack weight based on maturing textbook, so it can have up to 3 attack weight. Coin power plus 1 for every 6 burn and tremor on the main target, to a maximum of 3. That is 3 levels of escalation on a 4 coin power attack. So from a 17, it becomes a 21, and then a 25, and then a 29. Deals more damage for every excess attack weight beyond the number of actual targets. So this is AoE. If you don't have anyone to hit an AoE, you just deal more damage. When attacking one target, you deal more damage. So it's more damage on top of your damage with more damage. Very nice. The duel escalates. After the attack ends, we consume all the dual escalates on the main target. Gain 1 maturing textbook. If the main target is defeated, we gain 2 instead. At the final coin, we gain coin power for every maturing textbook on self, and it triggers Tremor Burst 3 times with amplitude conversion into Scorch. This is quite powerful. This is extremely powerful. Holy shit. Let's see the defense skills, shall we? Measuring Blade Reach. It's a 5 base power with 4 coin power. That is a 13 roller. Deals more, rolls better than the skill 1, so you're better off using this at the beginning before you get any escalation. Final power plus 1 for every 4 burn and tremor on the target. Deals more damage on dual escalates. Inflicts burn and inflicts tremor. And finally, I Will Protect, which is the assist defense he can use for Rodion, and only Rodion, mind you. Assist defense exclusive Q, there we go. Gains true protection once per turn, heals 5 SP for the unit protected by assist defense. So Rodion pretty much gets her guy to protect her. It's gonna be very good. And we have our clashable counter for unfocused encounters. The way I see this unit being used, assuming solo, nothing else, is very similar to Sync Mercil. You want to focus your attacks against a singular target till that target is dead, so that you can gain the permanent buffs, much like Wild Hunt's Heathcliff. So this is what we got. Let's equip some Eagle on this boy, and let's get into our dungeon. We're quite late today for the dungeon, aren't we? We are Burn, we are Tremor, Asymmetrical Inertia. Yeah, Asymmetrical Inertia doesn't work because it's Tremor on Stealth. Binds, because it's our only one, and AD, because we're getting assist defense, so we can get hit and recover health, which is always nice. let's move on to the House of Spiders, the Nursefather, and see what she has in store for us. Let me just get a drinky. Oh. Delicious juice. Alright, here we go. House of Spiders, the Nursefather. 248 health, 4 to 7 speed, 60 defense, fatal to blunt, resistant against slash. Why is it with everyone being fatal to blunt, man? She has the sins of pride, lust, sloth, wrath, and a gloom evade with a clashable pride counter. Very nice. Looking up at her passive, the Eye of Precognition. Upon entering the encounter for the first time, gain 30 Eye of Precognition. At 0 Eye of Precognition stack, convert Eye of Precognition into Eye of Precognition overheat. What is the Eye of the Precognition? I don't know. Max stack 30 can lose up to 10 stacks per turn. Okay. Eye of Precognition overheat. Max stack 30, we gain offense level, but we lose defense level. At turn start, we gain 10 stacks. At 30 stacks, it becomes back the Eye of Precognition. In other words, she enters the fight in sort of like a defensive mode, so I assume to use her evade real cool and not get hit at all. But once you use too much of the eye, you go into attack mode, losing defense levels but gaining offense levels, ironically becoming better at clashing. But we'll see more. While this unit has Eye of Recognition, activate the following effects. In a clash, gain 1 accelerating future with every clash, 5 times per skill. When attacked by an unopposed attack, unbreakable coin attack, or losing a clash against an attack skill, activate the Precognition skill once per turn. Accelerating Future. Gains max stacks of 5. Base skills deal more damage for every stack, max of 15. Base skill clash power plus 1 for every 2 stacks. At 5 stacks, base skill coin power plus 1. Expire at skill end. So, in other words, the longer we clash, the more coins the enemy has, the better we become at clashing, much like how the lore puts up the Palermitan style, similar to Heathcliff. But unlike Heathcliff, which has to apply the effects on the target by attacking him, this one happens during the clash. This is important because we have one skill with 4 coins and our skill with 4 coins. At least we're gonna clash 4 times unless we tie. So every time we're clashing, bing, 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 we're gonna gain Accelerating Future, max 5 times, and we're gonna be gaining Clash Power for every 2 stacks. So that is 2 Clash Power and more damage, and at 5 stacks we gain Coin Power, which, depending on the number of coins, it's going to be a mega buff. Right. The following causes this unit to use Eye of Precognition stack. Lose 1 Eye of Precognition with every clash. When this unit activates a Precognition skill via passive effect, due to being attacked by an unopposed attack or unbreakable coin attack, loses 3 Eye of Precognition. When this unit activates a Precognition skill via passive effect due to losing a clash, lose 5 Eye of Precognition. So no matter what you do, you are going to overheat that eye, baby. Every clash that you do, that is 1 eye lost. Every time you're attacked, one-sided, or unbreakable, that's 3 eyes lost. And I do believe if it's lost per evade, that is going to be really bad. You got basically 10 evades. Alright. At the end of the turn, this unit's Eye of Precognition is converted into Eye of Precognition Overheat. Activate the following effects. Reload once per encounter. At the start of the next turn, if this unit has no disposal on its dashboard, replace a base skill with disposal. Prioritize the skill on the leftmost slot, top row. At the end of this turn, so once we run out of Eye of Precognition, we're gonna get our disposal and we reload. Ideally, we don't want to do that too early, but it's still very nice. The following causes this unit to gain Shin Disgrace next turn. If this unit's Eye of Precognition stack drops to 0, if this unit is staggered, if the House of Spiders and Apprentice Heathcliff is defeated, if the said entity is already defeated when the unit substitutes in, gain Shin Disgrace at the turn start. She gets pissed off if Heathcliff dies. She gains speed, she inflicts more tremor and burn, and she deals more damage. Interesting, interesting. Alright, next passive, please. The Shame of Famiglia Bolognatelli. Gain 2 points and 2 point count for every acceleration round spent. When flipping a coin that spends acceleration round, the attack does not get cancelled, even when this unit is out of acceleration round. The identity counts only as an identity that inflicts burn and tremor. Turn start. If this unit has disposal on its dashboard, inflict gain target on the enemy. This unit attacked last in the previous turn. Focus encounters the part count for this purpose. If there are no targets that satisfy the condition above, inflict game target on the enemy that has the lowest HP. Game target makes the enemy takes 15% more damage. Nice. Psyche the Thumb. If this unit is defeated at encounters, this unit is defeated during the encounter, Blade of Houses Fighter Ryoshu gains the following: Entanglement, more defense skill coin power, +1 on base attacks, and deals more damage to targets that have shield. Finally, we get to her active passive. If this unit has +1 acceleration round, skill tree gains coin power +1 and deals more damage. Base skills deal 1% more damage for every 2 burn on the target, and if the main target has shield, base skills deal 3% more damage instead, max of 45%, all based on burn. Finally, her support ability. Tree Wrath Resonance. One ally with the fastest speed when triggering Tremor Burst on the enemy gains 2 offense level up next turn, once per turn. If the said ally is the Thumb identity, gain 1 haste as well, once per turn. Sorry, but you're not getting base Rhodia out of the passives. I'm sorry. 2 offense level up is a little bit of damage and a little bit of more clash power, and the haste is nice, but 20% more damage with no conditional. Sorry, you're not getting it. Alright, skill time. Copi di Taglio. Same deal as before. 3/4, 2 coins, /Pride with 2 levels of escalation, and on a Clash Wing, lose number of remaining coins, Eye of Recognition stack on self. You 5% more damage for a stack lost. So not only we lose Eye of Recognition when we clash, we lose when we win clashes. Okay, I see. So that disposal is coming in, it's coming fast. I see. Stesio Natura de Coniglio. The skill does not trigger defense skills, and external effects cannot trigger the skill to be reused. It's a 4/4/4. It's a nice 12 roll. Has base power. So that's a +2 maximum. I assume this is the one that we use after we evade. I don't remember because the names are all in Italian. Skill 2. Let's just move on. I'll gladly bless the whole tree. Yeah, that's a 16 roller. Yay! Flash, Sloth, 4 base power, 4 coin power, 3 coins. If this unit does not have acceleration round, activate the Segnatura de Cervo, which is the Segnatura de Coniglio. Is the same activates here? No. At 6 points, final power +1, we gain 2 levels of escalation based on burn and tremor. We lose Eye of Recognition based on the number of remaining coins. We spend bullets, so this is a bullet ID. Nice, nice. Segnatura de Cervo. If this unit is in Eye of Recognition overheat state, gains final power +2, and all becomes unbreakables. It's a nice 16 roller again. Gains points count, has 2 levels of escalation, and we lose number of coins remaining, Eye of Recognition. Alright, we can use this as if we do not have bullets. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Okay, lots of tremor burst. Finally, Segnatura di Elefante. I don't know how to pronounce all these, sorry. Sorry if anyone is from Italy and they're cringing at my pronunciation. 4 base power, 3 coin power, 4 coins. That is a nice 16 roller. Gains 1 final power when at 6 points, 2 levels of escalation for coin power, and lose up to 10 Eye of Recognition on self once per turn. This one rolls a nice, let's see, that was a 16, right? 20, 24, and 25 we have poise. Trigger Tremor Burst, reduce target Tremor card, like 5 more for every acceleration spent by this skill. This can burst Tremor 4 times. Nice. And finally, the big skill, Disposal. With 5 coins and a 5 base power, we got in our hands a very deadly 15, 20 roller base, gaining coin power if the target is game target, so it becomes 25. If we have acceleration power, it's another coin power, it becomes a 30. Final power +1 for every 4 burn on target, so it becomes a 35 with a max of 5. Upon killing a game target, add 1 disposal to the list of skills for the next upcoming game target disposal. So if we kill, we get it back, and because this is such a high coin number, we're probably gonna get it to use it again and again and again. So yeah. Finally, we have the defense, literally called Fuck Off. Flash Counter. Final power +1 based on burn and tremor on target, max of 2. We have a nice 11 roller, I guess. We can reload 5 acceleration rounds by using this, very nice. And here we have Precognition, a 3+7 dodge skill. That's a 10 skill dodging. Upon succeeding, evading all coins on a skill, use Sesenatore Disconiglio as an opposed attack against the attacker once per turn. Point power +1 for every true Eye of Precognition stack on self, max 4. Base power +1 for every true excess Eye of Precognition stack on self, plus 10 stacks, max 4. Gain 2 poise, huge SP, lose true Eye of Precognition on self. So, alright, we got it. This unit is extremely good at clashing, as expected from Valentina. She gains their clash power as she is clashing rather than applying a debuff on the enemy and having to keep applying it over turn. She just gets a buff every clash, so she powers herself up really well. She has an automatic evade that turns into an attack if she does evade, which would be very nice for soloing or duel. But the problem is that everything that she does will have her lose the Eye of Precognition. So if you're relying on the evade for everything, she will eat shit at some point, because that is an extremely weak evade by itself without the Eye of Precognition. And once you are overheated, you're not dodging shit. Again, if you're playing her, obviously you want to clash, and by the point you got to the point where you lost all your eyes, you probably have enough, clashes, skill slots to actually clash. So yeah, pretty much what saves on the thing. She's a great duelist. Let's equip some eagles, shall we? She's burn, so let's get pursuance for a nice heal, Indicates Trial, and Effervescent Corrosion. There we go. Now all that is left is to build a team. Oh boy, yapped a lot. I'm gonna get some water actually. But first let's build our team before we deploy, shall we? Alright, here we go. Starting with Yiseng. How can Yiseng help a burn tremor team? Let's see. We do have Effleur's Spice Book that offers more damage on the AoEs. It's not exactly a tremor unit, but it's good. We have Molar Office Fixer is only for self tremor. Leo Association is a nice heal based on burn, but if you're doing heals for SP heals for Yiseng, there are better options. I will take Pointless Yiseng. Pointless Yiseng gives us, I'm fairly sure, yes, SP heal based on negative effects on target, and if it's bleed, it does more. So it's just the strongest one to give us SP. I don't think we're going to be needing SP, but it's nice to have. Faust. Faust has Lobotomy Ego Regret. That will make the enemy lose clash power if they have 3 types of negative effects, which is just peachy, just perfect for the team we're running. A little bit overkill, I will consider. They already have pretty good clashes. We don't really need this. So we're gonna go ahead and use Ego Ardor Blossom Star for the additional burn application. Don Quixote. Burn Tremor. With slashes. Think Association comes to mind for Dawn because it gives us haste against enemies with burn. Or we could take Serious Association South Directive 5 Directive 40 additional slash damage, which is 10% more slash damage. I like that. I like that a lot. Tremor and Burn from Ryoshu. How do we do? We do Encorp Ego would be nice, I think. We do require a Lust Resonance. We would be applying Bleed. Is hit by an enemy, inflict 1 tremor on the attacker. I mean, it would be nice. Do we even have the Lust to fuel that? I have only Lust from Heat Clip, so no. Leo Association Subsector 4 is just... it inflicts burn on other enemies. I guess we'll go with that. This is Shield, this is for Envy, Resonance, Charge, Bleed. Let's go with Burn Spread. I think we're going to be using the Thumb Beast Capo here, because why wouldn't we? It gives us allow to pass speed using skill to spend ammo, deals more damage based on speed difference. It's a 15% damage buff, and I think it matches the team. Honglu, we already know what it is. Although we could take Dixie Trent Eurodiv for that chance of triggering additional Tremor Burst. but it's a 25% chance and requires a sloth resonance, and I'm not willing to do that. The LCD Oseer team. Is it a resonance? Of course it is a resonance. I do believe we have pride in our abilities. No, only Rodion has, so no. Let's see. Liu Honglu is not that strong, unfortunately. This is what I mean that some of the newest passives are kind of bad. Because check this out. One ally with the most SP inflicts 1 burn count with their effect of their attack, skill, and coins. That is plus 1 burn count. That's it. That's it. That's all. It's just more burn. It really doesn't compete with 20% extra damage. Unfortunately, I wish there was more interesting passives out there, but some of them just mog the others, so it is what it is. Let's... what do we take for... I always am at a loss when it comes to Ishmael passives. We do have the extra clash power and low health, but ideally we won't want to be on low health. And we're probably not gonna be. This is damage on sinking. This is more counter power, I believe. Counter skill final power, yeah. Leo Association is only for blunt, I believe. Blunt damage, yeah. Zway Association does provide a nice bonus to defense, I suppose. Let's go with that one, I guess. Nothing else here makes a lot of sense for our team, so that's what's gonna be. Sinclair is going to be the fun boy, because bullet. Otis is going to stay as Blade Lineage Salsu for the more damage on low health, so we can guarantee our kills and get our stacks. And Gregor is G-Corp Manager Corporal, because we need healing. As usual, this is one of the best ones. That's nice, that's a good team, I like it. We have support for sanity, support for burn, support for flash, burn spread on kill, bullet damage, more defense, more bullet, more damage at low against enemies with low health, and 5 HP heal per flash. Let's deploy. Before we deploy, of course, we are going to review our rules just to make sure everyone is on the same page here. Rules of the dungeon. The rules I subject myself to for these streams. We will not take Grace of the Stars. None of them. No starting buffs. We are not also not going to use any Starlight. That means no pack searching, no wishmaking fusion, and of course no Grace of the Stars as well as Ego Gift searching at the beginning of the dungeon. I think I repeated myself. No starting Ego Gift, because when you start select an Ego Gift at the start, it skewers the chances of getting gifts of that same category for all your drops onto the dungeon. We're not going to take that, so all our Eagles are going to be completely randomized. There is no healing, there is no shops at least, there is no revive on shops. If one of our sinners die, they remain dead. Maximum of 5 sinners, we are only using 2. This is not a solo run, so we do not get rerolls on the 5 if we happen to fail them. Since it already has been 1.5 hours, if we do, for whatever reason, lose the dungeon too early, we are just gonna go to the book reading, because, you know, time is a limited resource, and I'm using yours and mine. So let's get into the dungeon. I need to get some water, though. Been talking quite a lot, so let me just get ourselves started into the dungeon proper. Refuse the gift. Refuse the Eagle Search. Right, I will be right back, as I'm gonna get myself a cup of water, bowl of water, and I'll be right back. A bowl of wee what? Ah, there's that good shit. Water, baby. Hydration, nation. Represent. Alright, let's see what we got for the dungeon today, huh? We got the Outcast, Dregs of the Matter, and the Unloving. The Outcast is offering the very excellent Carmilla gift together with Reverberation. Dregs of the Manor is tempting me with the Echoes of the Manor preventing a stagger, and I am tempted to go get it. But that means fighting butlers or possibly dead rabbits, and I don't want to do that, not without a full team. So we're gonna go Outcast. Let's revive Rhodia's warm memories by fighting the Bugman again, shall we? I hope she has a unique line of dialogue for that.
이번 전투가 끝나면 반드시
Here we go now, here we go now. Use those clashable counters, because we get to clash against the guys that are faster.
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
왜? 못 맞추겠어?
Oh, we already lost 10 eyes.
심장을 노려!
So it's basically a timer for 10 turns. Got it.
자신 있으면 받아봐.
Feeling confident to parry this asshole.
심장을 노려!
There you go. She says the funny thing. Best not let her get in earshot of Gregor.
훤히 다 보여.
So you can only lose 10 eyes per turn. Yeah, goes up to 10 stats per turn. So that's gonna happen regardless of what we do.
알아듣겠습니까? 이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게. 적기라는 것.
I can barely see what she's doing, man. Hold on, let me turn off auto coin toss so we can actually see the animations. Oh, shit, hold on. No. Let's see what she does with this attack. It's a big stab with the rapier. The rapier extends. She does a little flourish with the sword, the same flourish on her skill 1. Then she finishes with a big swing all around.
그렇게 시원하게 처리하니 보는 맛이 나는군.
And we can turn it back on.
빠르게 하는 편이 덜 답답한 법이지.
Alright, her overheat is on and she turns into Super Saiyan, I guess. Gains offense level, and then, yeah. Alright. But we have Heathcliff to cover for her.
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
These units have only one problem compared to the other Nursefathers, because they require the enemy to have burn and tremor on them for what you call to get their escalation, their power-ups.
다음.
그간의 전투 경험이 있습니다.
Ah, we already got our disposal out.
적합한 조치였습니다.
Hey, assist defense boy, where's your assist defense?
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
Characters move the rock sliding top effect play through the duration of the character moves. Yeah, this is one of the issues that I said, like, it would be cool to have a side scroller beat 'em up. Is the problem that no one has walking animation. Everyone just slides.
대체 끝. 이제 같은 수는 기억해야 돼.
다음.
No, honestly, for the ability to dodge that she has, I'm surprised she took this much damage in this one fight.
단순해서 좋군. 이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게. 물론 좋은 성과를 갖고 돌아온다면 달고 짭짤한 걸
Flashy.
주지.
Does she get another disposal on a final coin kill? Yes, pretty much. If we go over here and check it out. Kill. Tree. Here we go. On kill, upon killing game target, add one disposal to the list. You have to kill the marked target. It can't just be anybody with skill disposal. It has to be the marked target. If you don't kill the marked target, well, I don't want to fight this guy. But I do want his ego gift, because I can turn it into something else. So go, Heathcliff. Get your blood sucked out of you, buddy.
명령하신 대로 완수했습니다.
we go. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep crushing them bugs.
눈 크게 뜨고 잘 봐.
I shouldn't do that. This is a bottle of water. It's properly capped, but I was tossing it left and right. My computer on this side, so an accident might happen, and I don't want that to happen.
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리게.
It's funny that her clashable counter clashes weaker than
내
Eclipse.
차례네. 느려 터졌네.
Eclipse is staggered. We gotta do something about it. Now, he's fine, he's fine. No one's targeting him. The soldier is stupid.
자신 있으면 받아봐.
Oh wait, did I get something wrong here? Oh, whatever. He will survive. He will live. He's strong. He's Heathcliff.
하면 어때? 다음. 말했잖아. 느리다고.
Yeah, see, Heathcliff is fine. We pop an eagle because she has a nice healing eagle, and she'll be fine. He'll be fine.
자신 있으면
Grandiose.
받아봐.
Can she actually gain? No, it's only with base skills. I'll take it. Can she gain point power with eagles by clashing them? But no, it's just for base powers, I'm fairly sure. I'm fairly sure. Oh yes, I may have mentioned this a few times now, but in the future, we will be doing the streams a little bit earlier because I noticed that some people claim it's a little too late for them, so it might be a thing in the future. The Pragonition sure does suck, kinda. It gets weaker the more she uses. That's the whole thing. It's kind of like the opposite to her mechanic where she gets more powerful during clash. The eye becomes weaker the more she uses. So you have your attacks that become stronger, but your defenses become weaker. And once it overheats, your defenses become even weaker, but your attack becomes even stronger because you gain offense level and defense level. That is a whole extra clash power right here, and defense level, it's damage reduction, so
자신 있으면
it's okay. It's okay.
받아봐.
Her evade could do with some power up there. But just the fact that you can dodge one-sided attacks is already pretty good. Unfortunately, she did not kill the marked target.
다음.
La spada di Palermo.
당신과 한없이 닮은
Very nice. So pretty much like, she is good. She gets her power-ups by just clashing. Heathcliff just requires many rounds to activate his super power-up. Let's peek at the book. I don't want to go here. I don't want to fight the boss. I don't like fighting it too. It's not dangerous, just I don't like the gimmick. It's annoying. Let's try to fuse for a charge gift that we like. Or a burn gift, actually. We got nice. We get that UPS to max level because that is damage up, baby. And that's it. Let's save the money. Hey, it means the Prognition might be not the best thing ever, but it sure does allow for some degree of survivability when fighting solo. Or when losing a clash. You can evade after losing a clash. There's also that. I don't think anyone else can do that. Unless you she can also evade a breakable coin without setting up an evade after. As we have seen from my video when dealing with Matthias, you can dodge an unbreakable coin by having the unbreakable go right, or the dodge go right after. Alright, we do have an assist defense coming from here, so we don't need to care.
받아봐.
역할대로
심장을 노려.
If you don't want to lose eyes too quickly, you can always have her attack one-sided. That is also an option. because even if you attack one-sided, you're still going to evade attacks because of recognition. So you can pretty much ignore some enemies' attacks and just have her attack go wild, buck wild on the enemy, because the enemy simply cannot touch her because she has high stack of eye. Like, let's put it for example here. I'm going to attack her, and I'm going to ignore all the clashes coming for her, except the one coming for Heathcliff, because it's defending himself. But that's not going to be a good show, because Heathcliff is going to assist defense her, so... Because you lose eyes by clashing, and by the number of points after a clash win on your skill. So if you attack one-sided with her, you don't lose your eyes of recognition. And of course, if there's an attack coming your way, those eyes are going to be consumed because of the evade. Ooh, Helterfly Dream is also good. Go with Helterfly Dream. Alright, third. Ooh, a special contract! Ooh, we're gonna go there immediately. That's a bomb-ass eagle. A focus encounter. Don't mind if I do.
단순해서 좋군. 구분 수감하자. 물론 좋은 성과를.
Here we go. Let me show you an example. We're gonna attack this guy, but we are gonna have Heathcliff take over the clash. She is not clashing. That means she's not losing eye of recognition by attacking the enemy, because this requires a clash win, and you lose eyes of recognition whenever you clash against an enemy for every clash. However, since we are not clashing at all, what's going to happen is we're going to receive these attacks, at least one of them, because Heathcliff is going to block one for us, because he's a nice guy. We are only going to lose the eyes when dodging, and the dodge gains a powerful eye of recognition. So our eye of recognition is strong when we are attacking one-sided, and when your stacks are high. So you're pretty much gonna be, you can switch from a defensive, I wouldn't call it a defensive, but you can call it a reckless attack mode by rushing the enemy one-sided, and then the enemy will attack you. You just evade them with your eye of recognition, as you can see. And it turns into an attack. That is also nice. Don't forget that. But unfortunately, you will lose 10 stacks of it starting off. So you're gonna go from a reckless attack mode into a more, what do you say? A reckless attack mode into a more clashable one, and then you're gonna have to use the clash no matter what you do. She keeps saying go to the heart, that's scary. Oh yeah, her skill tree also consumes eye, so be careful with that. We have an 18 evade, now we have a 14 evade, which is baseline. 14 is a baseline evade skill. Keep that in mind. So right now we are gonna roll below 14, but ideally you won't have to. Just keep in mind, if you're at 10 stacks of eye of recognition, do not rely on your recognition. But if you're above that, go ahead and use it. It can't go below 10, so that's fine. That go for the heart is gonna get annoying. Not that. Kill him. It's just about killing enemies with the marked target. She is just all about playing with her gimmick, which is very nice. It's a cool character. It's well designed. Ah, the best abnormality. Hello. Give me your gift. Thank you. You're so cool. Thanks for the help on the railway, by the way. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go now. Oh, my head hurts. I ate too much trash today. Today, I'm very happy lately. I'm a very happy boy. But today I drank a little bit. I ate a lot of junk food. I don't know why. I wasn't feeling down or anything.
자신 있으면 받아봐.
How cost rolled so low, man?
심장을 노려.
벌간이들이 흥겨워하는군. 대체로 저럴 때는 이유가 있는 법입니다. 이유를 잡아 쫓아보시죠.
자신 있으면 받아봐. 사냥 끝. 모조리 해체해줄게. 심장을 노려. 너무
There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
뻔히 다 보여.
And now we can't rely on our defense anymore because our defense is going to roll lower and lower. Do a lock resonance.
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
한눈 팔았으면 되져야지. 심장을 노려.
Evade 11. Now it's incredibly weak. Yeah, it's just a matter of while your offensive powers become higher, the more the battle goes on, the weaker your defensive capabilities become. Like right now, before until you reload, that's going to stay low, baby. We're gonna rely on loop your hit clip.
다음.
그간의 전투 경험이 쓸모가 없진 않군요. 당신과 한달 사이를 좋지 않습니다.
The good thing is about Heathcliff as well is that he marks the target whenever he clash wins. If he does kill him, he gets the maturity textbook. I guess the little Super Saiyajin aura she gets is just... Oh no, we got higher recognition, okay.
자신 있으면 받아봐.
Did I miss something? She was supposed to not have full higher recognition yet.
다음.
당신과 한달 사이대로 그래, 그렇게 시원하게
Very
처리하니
Very nice.
보는 맛이 나는군. 일 처리는 빠르게 하는 편이 덜 답답한 법이지.
Oh, no. God damn it, I'm scratching my eyeball. Let me just check something here. Passives. Zero stack convert eye precognition to eye precognition overheat. While this unit has eye precognition, this unit loses eye precognition stack. At the end of the turn, if this unit's eye precognition is converted to eye precognition is converted into eye precognition overheat, I can do the following effects: reload. Start the next turn, and this unit has been disposed though. Okay. Next stack. Change that convert. Eye precognition. Do we gain? How do we gain stacks of overheat? Because it converts into eye precognition overheat once we run out of it. The other turn is stream recognition. Entering gate at 0, convert to eye precognition overheat. But it got eye precognition to the following effect. Loses eye precognition stack, level 9, when the unit plays precognition, skip it, blah blah blah. Let's try precognition, skip it. How do we gain stacks over? Do we gain 10 of that? Yeah, turn start, gain 10 stacks. So okay, it takes 3 turns to reload our super dodge. But it wasn't 3 turns there, so how did she gain it? Did she gain from getting kills? More experimentation is needed.
좋건 9번 수감자. 물론 좋은 성과를 갖고 돌아온다면 이 궤적을 달고자라는 걸 주지. 역할대로.
내 차례네.
In terms of action economy, she busts open the action economy because of our ability to dodge everything. But I'm liking it. This is a very good idea. This is a very good idea.
쫓아보시죠.
Good. If it can attack because it's not being attacked.
심장을 노려.
if we have the Apprentice move to hit Cliff, when she runs out of Eye of Precognition, he can actually cover for her because he has a assist defense that only works for her. That's very nice.
자신 있으면
Of course, the opposite doesn't happen. She is not going to protect his ass, but he's going to protect her ass.
그래, 그렇게 시원하게 처리. 보는 맛이 나는군.
How many bullets does she have? I didn't pay attention to that. Because we get her disposal the moment we reload, similar to
얼마나 썼다고
Thumb
벌써
Salt.
걸리적거리니까 비켜.
10 acceleration rounds. I guess we start with 10
이래서
of those.
전쟁도
How much we
안
consume
겪어본
per
것들은
skill? Skill 2 uses 2 of them. Skill 3 uses 3 of them. 3 of them, okay. 2 and 3. We have 10. So that is 5 skill 2s, or 2 skill 2s and 2 skill 3s. And this one uses 5 of them. Okay, and disposal is 5. Okay, okay. We have 2 fully powered disposal and reload them.
자신 있으면 받아봐.
On Heathcliff, you gotta survive, man. You gotta get your revenge, brother. You gotta get your revenge, brother.
하면 못해진다. 다음. 한눈 팔았으면 되져야지.
Alright, very good. We're still overheating, so we can't use it. Good to me. Action. So it takes about maybe 6 turns for you to get a disposal. Much like any of the other Nursefathers, your most powerful skill is on a counter. On a countdown, sorry. It's either 3 or 6 turns, I'm not sure. If it's 3 turns, I think she's the Nursefather that gets her into her ultimate power form the quickest. Because we do have, you know, disposal right here.
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
다음.
그간의 전투 경험이 쓸모가 없진 않았군요.
I'm thinking it only takes 3 turns for her to actually use her disposal, because I think when you convert into overheated eye, you reload and you get the disposal available. Voodoo and Lobotomy Pack. I love me combos. I love my Carmilla Voodoo Doll combo because it kills enemies before I have to do anything. And we can sell the charge. No, actually keep that. Keep that. That is a nice little damage reduction we can have because he could have been taking a lot of damage. Being very careless with Heathcliff. Can't happen. Let the same thing happen to Heathcliff that happened during the middle Gen Alpha. Alright. Let's deal with the big attacks so that it is easy to dodge this one.
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
Cognatura di elefante.
사냥 끝. 모조리 해체해줄 심장을 노려.
Topi di Sotani.
훤히 다 보여.
Boink. We're all blunt fatal. We gotta be careful with that. Hold on. I'm not used to this, but so let's try and hit being attacked by 2 attacks. We can handle 1. She can handle another one. I mean, she can handle the 3rd one as well. The unopposed attack comes in, and we can take care of that when it comes. Okay, go.
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
thinking about the Uptai story, Ryoshu chose a Deku blade instead of the Chansha, and that's what fucked up the plan. So they forced the Chansha into Araya, and then put Araya into the vault. Araya was forced to grow up, was subjected to hardcore abuse, and because she took the Chansha blade, this plan was still going. But yeah, that's rough, baby. At the end of the day, the Nursefathers were all there because they wanted to complete the plan of the Blade of House Fighters. Not because they actually liked each other or because they liked Ryoshu. Here's your talisman's back, buddy.
심장을 노려!
Nice, very nice. Who's gonna do it? Who's gonna do it? Anyone can do it.
명령하신 대로 완수했습니다.
Alright, it's sufficiently depleted. Let's focus that weak spot over there. We don't lose eyes of recognition when we attack one-sided. We gotta keep that in mind. Come on, Heathcliff, don't lose that clash. Because if you lose that, you're gonna die. That is a multi-hit blunt attack. And I don't know if you're weak to gloom. I haven't paid attention. Very good, very nice. So the idea here is that when you have a high eye recognition, you are free to go hog wild with your attacks, because if the enemy attacks you, you're going to evade everything, as long as you have high eyes. When, you know, you lose your eyes of recognition, you are better off properly clashing. Alright, Tier 14s. Don't wanna... Tier 14 is actually okay. There's no Donbei there. So going with Envy. I'm mostly going for the Tier 4 and Lupo's Eye, so let's go there. Ooh. What dangers awaits us here? Tearful things. Oh, Sinclair, I got your surgery for you, buddy. I got surgery for you. Go get the painkiller, you German twink. Good job. Don't kill yourself. I'm gonna have to revive you. Fuck damn it, he did it. Virgilia's gonna have our ass for cleaning up, dirtying up the inside of Mephistopheles. How are you? You're favorable to love, favorable to lust, and favorable to blood. So you just have to take care of the blunt attacks, honestly. Yes, yes, she can take care of those evades, no problem.
심장을 노려! 왜? 못 맞추겠어? 내 차례네?
Once per turn, right? Yeah, only once per turn. The actual Valentina can do it any number of times per turn, which makes her really dangerous. Since she still has stacks, let's use those stacks, shall we? Hold that big skill for now, because that big skill makes you lose 10 eyes of recognition. It's like right off the bat.
한눈 팔았으면 되져야지. 심장을 노려!
Copy di Sotani.
말했잖아.
14 or phase line evade. Good.
너 대준다.
Now we cannot longer rely on our ability to dodge. So now we're gonna use our ability to kill. Kill, I say. I still have bullets. Still have bullets.
자신 있으면 받아봐.
It worked really well for evade because by the time you ran out of ice or recognition for your evade, you already have enough slots to properly clash. That'll make mincemeat out of you.
보는 맛이 나는군.
And if you reload it, okay. It has no reload animation. Cool. Cool. You have disposal ready. Yes, you do. Kill that guy because it was a focus encounter. Don't we love focus encounters, baby?
자신 있으면 받아봐. 더하면 높게 해준다.
Dispose of the jellyfish.
다음.
그간의 전투 경험이 쓸모가 없진 않았군요, 딴테.
Who's
다음
next?
나와.
참 좋지였습니다.
That one? Alright.
경험은 풀보듯
Kill
뻔하겠지만
him. Kill him now. And Lucio Hitcliffe here takes care of the scrap. The table scraps for Valentina.
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
41.
지긋지긋. 그 새끼도 너도 전부 다.
Let's just reload every time she kills a disposal. That is insane. I mean, you gotta get a kill, but still.
얼간이들이
Just check that real quick. Skill tree, disposal. Quite power +1. Upon killing a target disposal, the skills reload once per turn. She does reloads after a kill. Interesting. Alright, so if she reloads after every kill, it's not a problem then. By the way, we already lost. Didn't we kill the game target last turn? That's strange. I thought we did. Is it once per turn that we get 2 disposals? Did I misread it? They added this. Ah, it only works once. It only works once. It only works once. Got it. This is the ID with infinite ammo then, technically, because as long as you get the disposal again and, you know, get the kill with it, you can reload.
자신 있으면 받아봐. 심장을 노려.
수는 안 통할 거다.
더하면 높게 해준다. 더하면 높게 해준다.
Fuck did she do that she lost her place in the Familia, in the Tomb, because he was doing pretty well in the war, killed the Lord of Flies apparently. What about what the fuck did she do that she lost everything?
다음.
And she did it quickly too, so what was it? I'm guessing that maybe she killed the Lord of Flies, but didn't get the actual kill on him, and then he came back, and because of that, that might be a thing. So we got alluded to the fact that the Lord of Flies can, you know, when he's killed, he can come back through the Lord of Maggots. Should we go here? That's plenty of enemies. And last time I lost, but that's a cool eagle. So I'm guessing that she killed him in that fight, but didn't secure the kill, like confirm that he was dead. And then she, you know, went back home saying, haha, I killed him, look at me, I killed him. And, well, it didn't work. He was still alive. Struggling all around, huh? Go.
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
I forgot he was weak to gluttony. Shit.
심장을 노려. 훤히 다 보여. 하! 내 차례네. 훤히 다 보여. 너무 뻔하잖아.
Didn't pay attention to my target.
Where?
I'm doing
Mama
very
Chesa?
sloppily, but the fact that I'm doing this so sloppily means that the ID is good. Alright, Queens, do your shit.
심장을 노려. 그냥 모조리 해체해줄게.
Because of the difficulty of escalating without ego gifts, it's the damage is being a little underwhelming, but once you got a few gifts that can guarantee burn or tremor on the enemy on the first turn, they will do pretty well. Or if the duo escalates when you apply, you know, more tremor or more burn on them. Despite the extra stuff that they have, like gaining flash power and such.
내 차례네. 느려 터졌네.
84 was able to do a versus 60 run today. Congratulations on G50. That's very impressive. Ooh, didn't we fuck up here? I think we fucked up here. We're still not dead, however, but we're gonna lose a lot of sanity now.
합당한 이유가 있겠지. 기대하고 있겠습니다.
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
Honestly, I don't see the point of doing adversity 60 anymore.
다음.
I mean, aside from the achievement that I already done, because it's not making it. Sure, it's making things harder. It's just a matter of did you get the gift to prepare yourself. It's not really a tested skill. I prefer tested skill and strategy over like just stacking a bunch of debuffs. This guy is not letting up, huh? This guy is giving me trouble. This guy is making me want to do something violent. Let's do a little pursuit. Oh, that's not bad.
궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
Come on, come on.
당신을 반드시 집행하겠습니다.
Next Mirror Extreme that we're going to be doing here in the channel will be with a fully fed Blade of the House of Spiders Ryosho. We're going for that achievement again, boys. That's right. That's why we're going to need someone that can apply time moratorium on standby. But if I'm going to fully feed Ryosho, I don't think I'm going to need it. We'll see. We'll see. And there we have the overheat. Fox is marked. The fox will die. Die, fox! You don't belong in this world.
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
Here comes the disposal.
그 새끼도 너도 전부 다. 다음.
That is enough to kill it. Holy shit. It is certainly a disposal skill. I like it very, very much. 2-hour string already, and we are just getting started. Again, the up dice took a lot of time to read, but they were very fun. And I can't wait. I am so excited for my new overlay, man. Didn't like, I say the overlay, I made it all myself, but I'm excited for it nonetheless. Not like something I paid money for, but I did a real good job, and I'm so excited to use them. I'm tapping my feet on the ground. I'm rubbing my big belly. I just want to use them, but only when I get to the 100 dailies. I've been talking about this a lot, but again, I am very excited for it. Blunt attacks, and we are fatal to lust.
너 대준다.
Basically, ego time. Can't let you be weak to blunt and lust at the same time against these guys.
하면 못해준다. 한눈 팔았으면 되져야지.
Here it comes. This is one of my favorite eagles, by the way. I think it's really cool.
둘, 지면이 울릴 때마다 네 업을 떠올려라.
Dung 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 dung.
그간의 전투 경험이 쓸모가
말했잖아. 느리다고. 하면 못해준다. 심장을 노려.
So, this is pretty good.
제가 괜히 먹을
I'm liking this
사들고 오는
so
것이
far. They have some really cool
아닙니다,
stuff.
단테. 이런 보수적인
We have to lose all our guys attack munitions, so let's not.
자신
Not
있으면
yet.
받아봐.
What's up, Moises? What's going on?
결에 그렇게 시원하게 지수는 보는 맛이 나는군. 일 처리는 빠르게 하는 편이.
What are you cats doing there? I hear you.
심장을 노려.
I'll do that in just a second.
말했잖아.
Oi,
느리다고.
don't make me come over there.
못해준다.
골치 아픈
Cats are being evil.
고기
We're gonna have to
조각이
discipline them very soon.
단테. 나쁘지 않은
Anyway,
성공.
where were we? Oh yeah, killing these guys. They're not a big trouble. They are a
이
big
궤적을
trouble.
보고 떠올리시게.
I might try to do adversity 60 in the future, but again, I don't see much of the point of it. It's just mirror dungeon, but bigger number.
모조리 해체해줄게.
Not a big fan of just bigger numbers in a video game, you know?
못해준다.
It doesn't really add much to the challenge. Maybe if I'm running a full team, that would be fine. But solos, I see the appeal of trying to do a solo adversity 60 maybe, but as we have seen from our run with Hornet Mercel solo adversity, it becomes an exercise in frustration when your character die because he failed to roll the evade he needed to survive because they don't have enough slot. We've been through all of this already. Not gonna go again all over all the tiny details about this. We got some really good gifts starting out here. Give me a refresh. We got Modeling Keg. Can't use that, unfortunate. But Venomous Skin, we can. One more Wrist Gauntlets. Hell yeah. Wrist Gauntlets is very good. And we can sell some of these gifts because not all of them activate. Like this one. We don't inflict rupture. We don't need that. We do inflict rupture with our talisman bundle, so it affects the broken revolver, which is very nice. First, we're gonna go for Wrist Gauntlets. Then we're gonna go for Polarization, which is more damage against enemies with burn. And we are a burn tremor team after all. Not a full one, but a burn tremor team nonetheless. Do we have any other unit that apply Tremor Scorch? Because we are very close to running a burn tremor team with just the thumb.
단순해서 좋건 9번 수감자.
See, let's see.
물론 좋은 성과를 갖고 돌아온다면 달고.
You are weak to gluttony. Fuck's sake.
적으로 흘려보낸다. 다수를 상대할 땐 자살에 낮추고.
Let's get you to remove that weakness, please.
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
232 extra damage already. Nice.
하나, 둘.
I see a very common theme about units being weak to blunt. That back in Library of Ruin as well. Blunt really is the big damage boy attack, isn't it?
뻔하잖아.
Just the extra 100% from being weak to blunt. Good.
왜? 못 맞추겠어?
제가
You can't touch me, fat boy.
보는 것이 아닙니다, 단테. 이런 보수적인 효과를 기대했었죠.
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
Good.
한눈 팔았으면 되져야. 심장을 노려. 너무 뻔하잖아.
He also with a 9 die gun blunt attack, pretty much, yeah. And like a lot of enemies are weak to blunt, so it could be the predominant power attack, even though we got plenty of cool swords as well.
이 궤적을 보고 떡을
Observe the arcs of my blade. There you go.
심장을 노려.
Big boy damage. And the thing exploded. Alright, we're about to lose all of our Eyes of Odin anyway, so let's just turn this creature inside and out. Because we are faster than he is, he cannot activate his evasion. Do it again! Do it again! King! It's the spot there, Rhodia. Very good. Very nice.
보는 맛이 나는군. 일 처리는 빠르게 하는 편이 덜 답답한 법이지.
And Eagle Gift, come on. Nice charge generated. God damn it. God damn it. God damn it. This is bad. This is real bad. Well, we're gonna take Ashes to Ashes, so we're gonna have to choose either base power or clash power. This would lower the offense level after a Tremor Burst, but we need to guarantee the Tremor Burst first. This is just Clash Power, it's not extra damage. We're gonna go with the Clash Power. Clash Power versus Clash Power, here we go. We got Jesus. Go for Jesus. It's a fast pack, it's a good gift, and it saves on the time for the reading. Rupture or Poise. Let's fix your light, shall we? Go ahead and fix the creature's lights. Fix the whale. The whale has been fixed. We already got your contract, buddy. I haven't put off anything. I am a very punctual boy. Never mind that I'm completely ignoring my tests for now in favor of streaming. Ooh, standard dirty battery. I'll take that. Thank you. Let's upgrade those risk gauntlets. More damage for me. And finally, we fight the Jesus abnormality once again. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go now. Here we go now.
좋은 성과를 갖고 돌아온다.
이 궤적을 보고 떡을 보시게.
심장을 노려.
Very nice. And now we evade that because we're not gonna hit by that shit. Miss me with that. We got an extra attack on you. Lust and pride. Let's deal with our own roses, shall we? Aren't there like pre-Jesus Abno? No, not really. They're the most Jesus one out of all of them. This is the Jesus list out of all of them. You get the crown of thorns, you got the cross, you got the symbology about the garden. I mean, there is technically a White Knight and one deed, one sin and hundreds of good deeds. And well, you could say it's a Jesus one. I'm talking about only Lobotomy Corp. It's also on the cover of Crime and Punishment. Heathcliff, go kill that thing. Let's do this. Let's do
자신
this.
있으면 받아봐.
One-sided attack because we evade anything that comes our way. Kinda.
배심장, 심장을 노려.
Captivity.
당신과 한없이 닮은
그간의 전투 경험이
왜?
쓸모가
못
없진
맞추겠어?
않았군요. 딴
Nice. See if you can evade the rest,
왜?
Rhodia.
못 맞추겠어?
Keep
잘했잖아.
dodging, keep dodging.
느리다고.
시간이 무한하진 않죠. 딴테.
Yes, yes, there is that one too, yes. Now we're out of eyes of recognition, so now it's time to go on the offensive with Rhodia. I know what you're thinking, Lucio Heathcliff. You gotta kill that flower. Can't let Rhodia die for no good reason, huh?
받아봐.
It's not exactly, but it's related. It's, you know, the Antichrist, and you go confess to one sin and hundreds of good deeds to get it out of your facility. Or at least purge it from the heavens. We overheated our eyes. My eye doth overheat. Let's go with those Q2s because we reload. The duel escalates. Dispose of that statue. By tremor bursts, baby.
한눈 팔았으면
Disposal with House Tremor Eagle will go so hard, man. Alright, here we go. We continue our destruction. Target the signpost. Deal maximum damage. Satani, Palermo.
이 궤적을 보고 보이시게.
Hi, speaking of Lobotomy Corporation, again, I gotta keep hyping this up because I'm very excited to go back to and new overlay and all that. Once we get to the 100th chapter here in our dailies, we're gonna do Lobotomy Corporation first, which is I'm very excited too. It's gonna be a fun time. Fun times on Lobotomy Corporation. From scratch, mind you. A bridle. There comes a new hard plate. Final round. I am thinking Thunder and Lightning. I'm killing time we already did last time, so Thunder and Lightning. Thunder and Lightning. This motherfucker. Where are the other citizens? Give me my SP back, you bastard. I don't want your gift that gives me a little bit of shield. Every time I do that event, I hate it because you lose 20 SP for an okay-ish gift. Unless you're running a charge thing, it's not that worth. Now we can both clash. Well, we both are going to have to clash. Jesus Christ.
이 궤적을 보고 보이시게.
21 on the explosive wrath. Excuse you, buddy?
제가 괜히 먹을 것들을 사들고 오는 것이
Still not ready to waste our... Go here with this, and you can evade those attacks easy peasy, right? Right, so we're gonna go one by one against this enemy. We're dueling. My definition of dueling where two guys jump the same one. Pick to get a assist defense from him, and you can evade the other one. So it's gonna be fine. We just gotta make sure we eliminate that enemy. Me eliminated. Ooh, that I failed. This defense only comes when she is attacked one-sidedly. If she technically had a evade, she doesn't work with it anymore. I see. Heathcliff, help me out here, brother. One by one with this mental then. You were supposed to flash, goddammit. Flash is bad for eye of recognition. It all worked out in the end. Ideally, you want to send Heathcliff flashing first so she can attack one-sided. If she attacks one-sided, she does not consume eye, and she maintains on that height of her power. Very nice, very nice, very nice there. Heathcliff, go do your thing. Boya. Well, we already lost our eyes, so might as well consume them here. So we send her to clash first. Heathcliff goes to clash last. Since she is faster and he's launching 3 attacks, and I think he's gonna be staggered. There you go. She attacks first. Enemy can't do nothing. Assist attack from Heathcliff. This is just a better version of Pequod Captain Ahab, as we were talking yesterday. She has an assist defense and assist attack. We are overheated now, but not to worry, we have more than enough. Let's dispose of this cretin. I keep thinking the yellow attacks are skill 1s. Right, dispose of this cretin creature. Ooh, we got a slow down there, nice.
그간의 전투 경험이 쓸모가 없지 않았군요. 적합한 조치였습니다.
Hold on, I gotta check something about disposal. Do we gain more damage if we have Eyes of Recognition ready?
당신과 하나씩 급도할 수 없도록.
다음 사람 나와. 걸리적거리니까
Something.
비켜.
Give me that skill tree. If the attacker has acceleration, no, we do not gain additional damage from having Eye of Recognition, which I would assume it is, but it's not. So, never mind. I was entertaining a line of thought where if you waited out until you used Disposal until you recovered your Eye of Recognition, you could do extra damage, but that is not the case. Kill it!
이제 같은 수는 안 통할 거다.
Stab. It's very difficult to stab a stick. Scratch my back. Employee card. Oh, that's extra charge for us. Useless gift. On to the unfocused encounters. This is where we try our metal.
눈 크게 뜨고 잘 봐.
Fuck! These guys are bad news, baby. Bad news indeed. But you shall prevail. What attacks you have? Pride, envy, and sloth. You are normal against pride, normal against envy, and normal against sloth. Just weak to blood. And you are just weak against blood. Got it. These guys are using blunt attacks. How lovely. They are weak to pierce and resist against slash, which is our main damage type. In other words, we are fucked. But worry not. We shall succeed. We haven't used any Dante powers yet. Go, see what we can do.
한눈 털었으면 되져야지. 심장을 노려. 내 차례네. 왜? 못 맞추겠어?
That'd be nice being able to dodge everything, huh?
하나, 둘. 지면이 울릴 때마다 네 업을 떠올려.
No stagger, but that does give us a nice passive activation.
기회에 평소 지휘 실력을
See.
확인해보죠, 따뜻해. 하십시오.
Pierce. Do we have anything in the Pierce department here at Rhodia? We do! How nice! Game has the resonance attack weight, max 3, rounded down. Well, let's do what we can.
궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
Ow.
말했잖아.
Can't touch this, motherfucker.
심장을 노려.
Here's your reward for attacking me. Here comes the Indicant's Trial. I got a nice AoE out of it. Hell yeah! Show me the ducks. Show me the ducks. There they are. They're the ducks. Look at them. Nice.
그간의 전투 경험이 쓸모가 없진 않았군요. 단테 적당한 배치였습니다.
Oh, that was nice. Oh, we're about to overheat our attack too. Oh, they're bringing out some powerful clashes against us. Again, problem with units that require status ailments on enemies for their power-ups is that if the enemy does not have a status ailment and they're fresh from the fight, you are screwed. Like now, we are screwed.
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
심장을 노려.
But thankfully, these units gain clash power the longer clash goes on, so... Units, of course, have been killed. We couldn't maximize the textbook passive yet. So, Rodion is eating all the kills. As expected of a Nursefather.
자신 있으면 받아봐.
I also haven't found any ego gifts to give us more ego resources. Rhodia is fueling her own just fine with the help of Heathcliff, but I would like to have some ego resources, please. These guys are tanky, holy shit. But the duel is accelerating.
대체로 차를 때는
Here comes the disposal, the funny attack.
이유를 잡아 좀
Nice sloth resonance here for our pleasure.
그쪽으로 못 가.
And stagger. No, not yet. I have to dispose of you, buddy. Got that little slow motion going there.
패밀리도 너네들도 전부.
Oh, yeah.
다음.
그래 그렇게 시원하게 처리하니 보는 맛이 나는군. 일 처리는 빠르게 하는 편이 덜 답답하다.
Come on, Heathcliff. You gotta get some kills for your power-ups, buddy. You got the stagger. What about the kill? Come on. Come on.
의심 암귀
I know Rhodia is fast and fat, but come on. You can do better than that.
자신 있으면 받아봐.
알아듣겠습니까? 지금이 적기라는 것입니다.
Heathcliff, you jobber.
그쪽으로 못 가.
Oh, yeah.
이게 어려워?
Did you just talk shit about him not being able to get kills? I believe it.
모조리 해체해줄게.
Finally, you get a kill, but 2 kills. But the battle's already in, buddy. The duel escalates. Accelerate faster. Faster, you two little cuts.
역할대로 재현할 것.
A kill, finally.
심장을 노려. 교본, 이게 어려워? 그냥 끝. 모조리 해체해줄게.
I'll make mincemeat all of ya.
더하면 되든다.
Alright, here we go. Final round.
자신 있으면 받아봐. 심장을 노려. 더하면 다음.
Look at her go. I still think it's really silly that she's using a rapier with a katana or a saber or whatever the type of one-handed curved sword she's using. It's just odd, you know? You have something that is very good for stabbing, something that is very good for swinging, and you're swinging both and sometimes stabbing both. It's just odd. It's just odd. We have another Pierce fight to go, huh? Or we could fight this guy. Let's fight this guy. It's easier than the Pierce fight because the Pierce fight is going to be T-Corp again. These guys are tanky. Tankier than I remember. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go now. One attack going for Heathcliff. It's a hopeless one too. Oh my. You gotta do something about that, huh? Let's not lose our head here. Don't look like we got a choice though.
자신 있으면 받아봐. 그냥 끝. 모조리 해체해줄 심장을 노려.
Then we could stagger the arm as well, so we could keep him here. He's just gonna run away, the little weirdo. He broke one of the arms. I don't think that's enough though.
훤히 다 보여. 내 차례네. 훤히 다 보여.
저런 광대 노름은 압도적인 힘 앞에선 그저 넋짓거리일 뿐입니다만 당신에겐 커다란
이
벽이
궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
Heathcliff, come on.
심장을 노려. 한눈 팔았으면 되져야지.
제가 괜히 먹을 것들을 사들고 오는 것이 아닙니다, 단테.
Several attacks with AoE. Oh my.
부수적인 효과를
We gotta take care of those. Don't we? Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
훤히 다 보여.
Even if she loses the class, she still gets to use her evade, which is very nice.
그래, 그렇게 시원하게 처리하니 보는 맛이
말했잖아. 느리다고.
일을 처리
Come back here, Necromorph. I'm done with you yet.
답답한 법이지.
Ooh, a hopeless clash. And now all the attacks are coming for Heathcliff, which is the one that can't defend himself. So we're gonna have to have Rhodia do the defenses here, which is bad. Because we lose eyes with recognition when we do that. But otherwise, Heathcliff's gonna die. And we can't have that happen, even though this is the last floor.
받아봐. 훤히 다 보여. 더하면 너 대준다. 한눈 팔았으면 되져야지.
On the string. I'm a big fan of horror games, but I should do it. You're gonna hide again. Not this time. Not this time, boy. You are marked for death, buddy. Which part of you is marked for death, though? Left. Here he comes. Here comes the death. Here comes the kill. Let's all focus on that one broken arm, shall we? Let's take your arm and twist it open.
있으면 받아봐. 더 하면
Missed the spot there.
다음.
Very good. Oh, I got a pimple in my nose and it's on the inside. It's annoying as hell. Right, let's get on to the boss and finish this. Spin the roulette. Once the roulette. Thank you. What do we got in the shop? Broken compass, sanguine fragrance. Torn hams, calco crumbs. If we can upgrade something that we already have, like go for additional HP. Let's fuse for burn, because that's our main status. We got ardent flower. Let's see what else. What else can I fuse here? This is garbage. We don't use poise. The roulette wheel kind of shit too, honestly. I don't know. Let's use these two and call it a day. Garbage. Oh well. Refresh, please. Stone Tomb, refresh, please. Garbage again, refresh. What the fuck up? Refresh for burn. Fury down. Fury down. Let's fuse for slash and try to get a rock. What else? What else? We can sacrifice here. This one can be sacrificed easy. We can sacrifice the portable socket or the little shield. Or this. Let's sacrifice this. And yet, the broken greatsword. There we go. That's the clash power we needed to cancel the mountain prior we got. Let's kill this boss. I gotta go to the bathroom after this and then read our book. We're inching ever closer to the final chapter of Crime and Punishment. Then, oh, it's this guy again. Okay. I guess we already won the dungeon, huh? Okay. I can accept that. Alright. And now it's no longer helpless because we got this lash gift. My turn, you little shit. He throws out so many insults and expletives, man. It's great. Run away, you necromorph you.
자신 있으면 받아봐.
그래, 그렇게 시원하게 처리하면 보는 맛이 나는군. 이 처리는 빠르게 하는 편이.
심장을 노려.
Not enough.
제가 괜히 먹을 것들을 사들고 오는 것이 아닙니다, 단테. 이런 우수적인 효과를 기대했었죠.
자신 있으면
Oh
받아봐.
my. Oh my.
뻔히 다 보여. 심장을 노려.
Come on, kill that thing. Kill that thing. Come on, kill that thing. Not enough.
그렇게 했을 테지. 이만하면 훌륭한
Unopposed attack coming right up.
원하잖아.
You're back here, Necromorph. You must wish death. Well, we're already at 10 eyes, so there's no point in saving all those big red skills that we have ready for you, wayward passenger. That's right, you will get a taste of the red attack of Rhodia.
자신 있으면 받아봐.
Oh, does he remove the dual escalates? Oh, he does. Oh, no, he doesn't. There it is. One more. How about one more? Come on, Rhodia.
그간의 전투 경험이 쓸모가 없진 않군요. 급한 조치였습니다.
Oh, he's fighting again. That wasn't enough to kill it. Okie dokie. Rhodia, get rid of that one. You get rid of that one because it's yellow. I'm fairly sure it's weak to sloth. Never checked. Yeah, it's weak to sloth. As predicted. Over here.
이 궤적을 떠올리시게.
Get disposed of, idiot.
너네들도 전부. 다음 사람 나와.
Saver disposal. Oh, we have to use both of
결과는
these.
풀보다 뻔하겠지만.
Oh well. Saver skill true too. We want that on the big boy, not on these little thingamabobber. The little portals he created.
이 궤적을 보고 또
Cool, it's a cool boss. I love this boss. I'm a little tired of fighting him though. I've seen him plenty of times. I know what he does. I know how to handle him. Just break his arms off. It's a necromorph. You break the arms of a necromorph, you win. Let's dispose of this fool. Let's get him gone. Get him out of here. I don't want to see him anymore. I want him dead. Your manager demands you kill this necromorph, Rhodia. Get your pistol out. Get your plasma cutter. Flip at Isaac Clarke. That was a pretty good artwork, by the way. Would make sense considering how deleted our reality Katarina is. Alright, we have finished the dungeon. Nice. Very nice. Let's talk about this unit. So, following our rules of the dungeon, we have, you know, lots of rules that we follow here. Rhodia and Heathcliff are very good IDs. I feel because Rhodia was getting all the kills, Heathcliff didn't really get the time to shine. He dealt poor damage and took a lot of beating, which is funny considering the backstories we read before today on the stream. Rhodia is excellent, but you have to balance the usage of her Eye of Recognition. As long as you have high eye, like the first turn, first and second turn, you can just attack one-sided if you can, and just dodge everything the enemy has to throw at you. You get a pre-attack, and you dodge everything. Assuming you're high enough sanity, that is. Once your Eye of Recognition goes down, you want to change into a more clash-based gameplay, because you gain bonuses for clashing, and you no longer have your evade. You only have a clashable counter, which rolls as... It's a very bad clashable counter, let's be honest. The clashable counter has rolls lower than his Q1 once it's escalated. The problem lies with her being a unit that only escalates based off of Tremor and off Burn on the enemy. So, you know, it's what you expect. If the enemy doesn't have Burn or Tremor, you're gonna be a little, you know, you don't get your escalation, you don't get your power, but she compensates with the ability to gain additional clash power during a clash. Unlike Heathcliff, that requires 2 turns to actually gain lots of clash power, lots of base power to his attacks. Heathcliff is more of a slow, gradual power up, and he, much like his Sync Merceau, must focus on one target. Of course, nothing stops him from clashing against multiple targets and applying the dual escalates to multiple targets, but ideally, you want to have that number as high as it can be so you can get the most out of it. And he gets permanent buffs for the rest of the fight when he uses his skill tree. Not sure of that, but whenever he gets a kill, he also gets a permanent buff that helps him, you know, escalate even faster. Once you have all the buffs, the 3 levels of buff for getting 3 kills, or using 3 skill trees, I'm fairly sure, you only need 3 dual escalates on your target to gain the maximum effects of Heathcliff's passive, which is very good. The problem is getting those skill trees and getting those skills. If you're fighting a boss that someone adds, like small enemies you can kill, that's all the better for you as Heathcliff. But if you can't, you're gonna rely on your skill tree and your debuff application from the dual escalate. Let me just take a look. The wrong town member. Oopsie doopsie. Take a look here. If the dude has maturing textbook, no. He doesn't gain maturing textbook. Does he gain from Signatura? Yes. He does gain maturing textbook if he uses his empowered S3, which requires 5 turns of dual escalation. You need to clash against the target 5 times. Max 5 per turn. Oh yes. So every time you hold on. Target is defeated. No, not it. No, that's not it either. Where can get up to 3. Yeah. So every time you clash against someone with Lucio Heathcliff, enemy gains a dual escalates. You can only get 3 of those per turn. So to maximize it, you have to clash 3 times in the first turn and 2 times in the second, and then you're good to go. If you manage to use your skill tree against a target that has 5, it becomes the strong version. If you kill, you gain 2 maturing textbook. You only need 3 of those. If you just use it, you gain 1. That is my review of these units. Now we're gonna move on to our book reading. I'm gonna put this image here because it's much more fitting. But first, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. I am back, everybody. Okie dokie. So, now is the time that most of you will leave, because we are going to be reading our book. I know most of you came here only from Limbus Company, but the books are part of Limbus Company. We are going to be reading Crime and Punishment. Let me put it up on the screen here. Let me zoom in so you can accompany the reading if you wish. Now, let's recapitulate what had happened last time in Crime and Punishment. Rodian's sister went to meet Svidrigailov. Svidrigailov has sent a letter to her explaining that he knew a secret that Raskolnikov was keeping. Raskolnikov already suspects that Svidrigailov was the one that sent the letter because Razumikin told him that. So he is very concerned about what's going on. In the meeting with Svidrigailov and Avdotya Romanovna, mind you, Svidrigailov told her that he killed the old lady and killed the sister of the old lady as well. Of course, Avdotya didn't want to believe it, but Svidrigailov was adamant on it. Svidrigailov, being the creep that he is, hasn't given up on, getting it on with Avdotya Romanovna. When he said, "Oh, I locked the door, ha ha ha, I lost the key, ha ha ha," Avdotya Romanovna pulled a fucking gun on him and said, "I'm going to fucking kill you." But, she shot once, missed, second shot didn't load properly, misfired, and then the guy said, can you love me? And she said no, and Svidrigailov was basically heartbroken. He kind of deserves to die, honestly, after forcing me to read through all that. But in any case, that's the recap of Chapter 5. Let's get on to Chapter 6. Page 412 out of 467. We're almost there, boys. He spent that evening until 10 o'clock, going from one low haunt to another. Katya, too, turned up and sang another gutter song, about how a certain villain and tyrant began kissing Katya. Svidrigailov treated Katya and the organ grinder and some singers and the waiters and two little clerks. He was particularly drawn to these clerks by the fact that they both had crooked noses, one bent to the left and the other to the right. They took him finally to the pleasure garden, where he paid for their entrance. There was one lanky 3-year-old pine tree and 3 bushes in the garden, besides a Vauxhall, which was in reality a drinking bar where tea too was served, and there were a few green tables and chairs standing around it. A chorus of wretched singers and a drunken but extremely depressed German clown from Munich with a red nose entertained the public. The clerks quarreled with some other clerks, and a fight seemed imminent. Svidrigailov was chosen to decide the dispute. He listened to them for a quarter of an hour, but they shouted so loud that one of them had stolen something and had even succeeded in selling it on the spot to a Jew, but would not share the spoil with his companion. Finally, it appeared that the stolen object was a teaspoon belonging to the Vauxhall. It was missed, and the affair began to seem troublesome. Svidrigailov paid for the spoon, got up, and walked out into the garden. It was about 6 o'clock. He had not drunk a drop of wine all this time and had ordered tea more for the sake of appearances than anything. It was a dark and stifling evening. Threatening storm clouds came over the sky, and about 10 o'clock there was a clap of thunder, and the rain came down like a waterfall. The water did not fall in drops, but beat on the earth in streams. There were flashes of lightning every minute, and each flash lasted a while one could count to 5. Drenched to the skin, he went home, locked himself in, opened the bureau, took out all his money, and tore up 2 or 3 papers. Then, putting the money in his pocket, he was about to change his clothes. But, looking out of the window and listening to the thunder and the rain, he gave up the idea, took up his hat, and went out to the room without locking the door. He went straight to Sonia. She was at home. She was not alone. The 4 Kapernaumov children were with her. She was given them tea. She received Svidrigailov in respectful silence, looking wonderingly at his soaking clothes. The children all ran away at once in indescribable terror. Svidrigailov sat down at the table and asked Sonia to sit beside him. She timidly prepared to listen. "I may be going to America, Sofya Semyonovna," said Svidrigailov, "and as I am probably seeing you for the last time, I have come to make some arrangements. Well, did you see the lady today? I know what she said to you. You need not tell me." Sonia made a movement and blushed. "Those people have their own way of doing things. As to your sisters and your brother, they are really provided for, and the money assigned to them I've put into safekeeping and have received acknowledgments. You had better take charge of the receipts, in case anything happens. Here, take them. Well, now that's settled, here are 3 5% bonds to the value of 3,000 rubles. Take those for yourself, entirely for yourself, and let that be strictly between yourselves, so that no one knows of it. Whatever you hear, you will need the money, because to go on living in the old way, Sofya Semyonovna, is bad, and besides, there is no need for it now. Hello there, Ghost Spaceman Shorts. Interesting number you have decided. I will not say that out loud. Anyway, continuing. I am so obliged to you, and so are the children and my stepmother, said Sonia hurriedly. And if I said so little, please don't consider. That's enough, that's enough. But as for the money, Arkady Ivanovich, I am very grateful to you, but I don't need it now. I can always earn my own living. Don't think me ungrateful if you are so charitable with that money. It's for you, Sofya Semyonovna, and please don't waste words over it. I haven't got the time for it. You will want it. Rodion Romanovich has 2 alternatives, a bullet in the brain or Siberia. Sonia looked wildly at him and started. Don't be uneasy. I know all about it from his own lips, and I am not a gossip. I won't tell anyone. It was good advice when you told him to give himself up and confess. it wouldn't be much better for him. It would be much better for him. Well, if it turns out to be Siberia, you will go and you will follow him. That's so, isn't it? And if so, you will need money. You need it for him, do you understand? Giving it to you is the same as my giving it to him. Besides, you promised Amalia Ivanovna to pay what you owe. I heard you. How can you undertake such obligations so carelessly, Sofia Semyonovna? It was Katerina Ivanovna's debt and not yours, so you ought not have taken any notice of the German woman. You can't get through the word like that. If you are ever questioned about me, tomorrow or the day after, you will be asked. Don't say anything about the fact that I am coming to see you now, and don't show the money to anyone, or say a word about it. Well now, goodbye. Shut up. My greetings to Rodin Romanovich, by the way. You'd better put the money of the present in Mr. Razumikin's keeping. You know Mr. Razumikin? Of course you do. He's not a bad man. Take it to him tomorrow, or when the time comes. And until then, hide it carefully. Bro, you ever applied 67 tremor by 1 coin? No. And I didn't pay attention if I did, because my strategy in Limbus and Library of Ruin by extension isn't so much as to count status ailments, but rather they come as a consequence of me winning the clash and beating whatever I am fighting into the fucking ground. If he's bleeding, tremoring, burning, or sinking, doesn't matter. It's just an extra. What matters is hitting the enemy. Continue. Sonia too jumped up from her chair and looked in dismay at Svidrigailov. She longed to speak, to ask a question, but for the first moment she did not dare and did not know how to begin. How can you be going now? And in the rain like this? What? Set off for America and get stopped by the rain? Goodbye, Sofia Semyonovna, my dear. Live and live long. You will be of use to others. By the way, tell Mr. Razumikin I send my greetings to him. Tell him Arkady Ivanovich Svidrigailov sends his regards. Be sure to. He went out, leaving Sonia in a state of wondering anxiety and vague apprehension. It appeared afterwards that on the same evening, at 11:20, he made another very eccentric and unexpected visit. The rain still persisted. Drenched to the skin, he walked into the little apartment where the parents of his fiancée lived, in 3rd Street on Vassilievsky Island. He knocked for some time before he was admitted, and his visit at first caused great disturbance. But Svidrigailov could be very fascinating when he liked, so that the first and in fact very intelligent surmise of the sensible parents, that Svidrigailov had probably had so much to drink that he did not know what he was doing, vanished immediately. The decrepit father was wheeled in to see Svidrigailov by the tender and sensible mother, who as usual began the conversation with various irrelevant questions. She never asked a direct question, but began by smiling and rubbing her hands, and then, if she had to ask about some detail, for instance when Svidrigailov would like to have the wedding, she would start with the interested and almost eager questions about Paris and the court life there, and only by degrees brought the conversation round to 3rd Street. I still need thumb heat, I only just have thumb rodeo. Well, aren't you in luck, Ghostface Man shorts? They are shardable now! You can just get them. Or just buy them with Lunacy. I'm pretty sure you can buy them with Lunacy as well. Anyway, on other occasions, this had of course been very impressive. But this time, Arkady Ivanovich seemed particularly impatient, and insisted on seeing his betrothed at once, though he had been informed to begin with that she had already gone to bed. The girl, of course, appeared. Oh, here we go again, fucking Svidrigailov. Svidrigailov informed her at once that very important affairs obliged him to leave Petersburg for a time, that he had therefore brought here first 15,000 rubles, and that he begged her to accept it as a present from him, as he had long been intending to make her this trifling present before their wedding. The logical connection of the presents with his immediate departure and the absolute necessity of visiting them for that purpose in pouring rain at midnight was not made clear. But it all came off very well. Even the inevitable question, the inevitable expressions of wonder and regret were extraordinarily few and restrained. On the other hand, the gratitude expressed was remarkably glowing and was reinforced by tears from these most sensible of mothers. Svidrigailov got up, laughed, kissed his fiancée, patted her cheek, declared he would soon come back, and noticing in her eyes, along with childish curiosity, a sort of earnest, dumb inquiry, reflected and kissed her again. though he felt sincere anger inwardly at the thought that his present would be immediately locked up in the keeping of the most sensible of mothers. He went away, leaving them all in a state of extraordinary excitement, but the tender mamma, speaking quietly in a half-whisper, settled some of the most important of their doubts, concluding that Svidrigailov was a great man, a man of great affairs and connections and of great wealth. There was no knowing what he had in his mind. He would start off a journey and give away money just as his fancy took him. So there was nothing surprising about it. Of course, it was strange that he was wet through, but Englishmen, for instance, are even more eccentric, and all these people of high society didn't think about what people said and didn't stand on ceremony. In fact, he may have come like that on purpose to show that he was not afraid of anyone. Above all, not a word should be said about it, because God knows what might come of it, and the money must be locked up. And it was extremely fortunate that Fedosia, the cook, had not left the kitchen. And above all, not a word must be said to that old cat, Madame Reslich, and so on and so on. They sat up, whispering until 2 o'clock, but the girl went to bed much earlier, amazed and rather sorrowful. Meanwhile, at midnight exactly, Svidrigailov crossed the bridge on the way back to the mainland. The rain had ceased, and there was a roaring wind. He began shivering, and for one moment he gazed at the black waters of the little Neva with a look of special interest, even inquiry. But he soon felt it very cold, standing by the water. He turned and went towards Wide Prospect. He walked along the endless street for a long time, almost half an hour, more than once stumbling in the dark on the wooden pavement, but continually looking for something on the right side of the street. He had noticed passing through the street recently that there was a hotel somewhere near the end, built of wood, but fairly large, and its name, he remembered, was something like Adrianople. He was not mistaken. The hotel was so conspicuous in that god-forsaken place that he could not fail to see it even in the dark. It was long, blackened wooden building, and although it was late, there were lights in the windows and signs of life within. He went in and asked a ragged fellow who met him in the corridor for a room. The latter, scanning Svidrigailov, pulled himself together and led him at once to a tiny, stuffy room in the distance, at the end of the corridor, under the stairs. There was no other room, all of them were occupied. The ragged fellow looked inquiringly. "Is there tea?" asked Svidrigailov. "Yes, sir." "What else is there?" "Veal, vodka, savories." "Bring me tea and veal." "And don't you want anything else?" asked with apparent surprise. "Nothing, nothing." The ragged man went away, completely disillusioned. "It must be a nice place," thought Svidrigailov. "How was it I didn't know it? I expect I look as if I came from a Café Chantan and had some adventure on the way. It would be interesting to know who stayed here." He lit the candle and looked at the room more carefully. It was so low-pitched that Svidrigailov could only just stand up in it. It had one window, the bed, which was very dirty, and the plain-stained chair at the table almost filled it up. The walls looked as though they were made of planks, covered with shabby paper, so torn and dusty that the pattern was indistinguishable, though the general color, yellow, could still be made out. One of the walls was cut short by the sloping ceiling, though the room was not an attic, but just under the stairs. Svidrigailov put down the candle, and sat down on the bed and sank into thought. But a strange, persistent murmur, which sometimes rose to a shout in the next room, attracted his attention. The murmur had not ceased from the moment he entered the room. He listened. Someone was upbraiding and almost tearfully scolding, but he heard only one voice. Svidrigailov got up, shaded the light with his hand, and at once he saw light through the crack in the wall. He went up and peeped through. The room, which was somewhat larger than his, had 2 occupants. One of them, a very curly-headed man with a red inflamed face, was standing like an orator, without his coat, with his legs wide apart to keep his balance, and smiting himself on the chest. He reproached the other with being a beggar, having no standing whatsoever. He declared that he had taken the other one out of the gutter, and he could turn him out when he liked, and that only the finger of the Providence seized it all. The object of his reproaches was sitting in a chair, and had the air of a man who desperately wants to sneeze, but can't. He sometimes turned sheepish and misty eyes on the speaker, but obviously had not the slightest idea what he was talking about, and scarcely heard it. A candle was burning down on the table. There were wine glasses, a nearly empty bottle of vodka, bread, and cucumber, glasses with dregs of stale tea. After gazing attentively at this, Svidrigailov turned away indifferently and sat down on the bed. The ragged merchant, returning with the tea, could not resist asking again whether he didn't want anything more, and again receiving a negative reply, finally withdrew. Svidrigailov swiftly drank a glass of tea to warm himself, but could not eat anything. He began to feel feverish. He took off his coat and, wrapping himself up in the blanket, lay down on the bed. He was annoyed. It would have been better to be well for the occasion, he thought with a smile. The room was close. The candle burnt dimly. The wind was roaring outside. He heard a mouse scratching in the corner, and the room smelt of mice and of leather. He lay in a sort of reverie. One thought followed another. He felt a longing to fix his imagination on something. It must be a garden under the window, he thought. There's a sound of trees. How I dislike the sound of trees on a stormy night in the dark. They give me a horrible feeling. He remembered how he had disliked it when he passed Petrovsky Park just now. This reminded him of the bridge over the Little Neva. He felt cold again as he had when standing there. I never have liked water, he thought, even in a landscape. And he suddenly smiled again at a strange idea. Surely now all these questions of taste and comfort ought not to matter, but I've become more particular, like an animal that picks out a special place for such an occasion. I ought to have gone into Petrovsky Park. I suppose it seemed dark, cold, hard, as though I were looking for pleasant sensations. By the way, why haven't I put out the candle? He blew it out. They've gone to bed next door, he thought, not seeing the light at the crack. Well, now, Marfa Petrovna, now is the time for you to turn up. It's dark, and the very time and place for you. But now you won't come. He suddenly recalled now, an hour before carrying out his plan involving Dunya, he had recommended Raskolnikov to trust her to Razumikin's keeping. I suppose I really did say it, as Raskolnikov guessed, to tease myself. But what a rogue that Raskolnikov is. He's gone through a good deal. He may be a successful rogue in time, when he's got over his nonsense, but now he's too eager for life. These young men are contemptible on that point, but damn him! Let him please himself. It's nothing to do with me. He could not get to sleep. By degrees, Dunya's image rose before him, and a shudder ran over him. No, I must give it all up all that now, he thought, rousing himself. I must think of something else. Strange. I never had any great hatred for anyone. I never particularly wanted to revenge myself even. And that's a bad sign, a really bad sign. I never really liked quarreling either. I never lost my temper. That's a bad sign too. And the promises I made her just now, too. Damnation! But who knows? Perhaps she would have made a new man of me somehow. He ground his teeth and sank into silence again. Again, Dunya's image rose before him, just as she was when, after shooting the first time, she had lowered the revolver in terror and gazed blankly at him, so that he might have seized her twice over, and she would not lift a hand to defend herself, if he had not reminded her. He recalled how at that instant he felt almost sorry for her, how he had felt a pang at his heart. Ah, God, these thoughts again. I must put them away. He was dozing off. The feverish shiver had stopped, when suddenly something seemed to run over his arm and leg under the bedclothes. He started. Ah, damn it! I think it's a mouse, he thought. That's the view I left on the table. He was extremely unwilling to pull off the blanket, get up, get cold, but suddenly something unpleasant ran over his leg again. He pulled up the blanket and lighted the candle. Shaking in a feverish chill, he bent down to examine the bed. There was nothing. He shook the blanket, and suddenly in a mouse jumped out of the sheet. He tried to catch it. The mouse ran out to and fro, in zigzags, without leaving the bed. He slipped between his fingers, ran over his hand, and suddenly darted under the pillow. He threw down the pillow, but in one instant felt something leap on his chest, and dart over his body, and down his back under his shirt. He trembled nervously and woke up. The room was dark. He was lying on the bed and wrapped up in his blanket, as before. The wind was howling under the window. How disgusting, he thought with annoyance. He got up and sat on the edge of the bedstead with his back to the window. It's better not to sleep at all, he decided. There was the cold, damp draught from the window. However, without getting up, he drew the blanket over him and wrapped himself in it. He was not thinking of anything and did not want to think. But one image rose after another. Incoherent scraps of thought without beginning or end passed through his mind. He sank into drowsiness. Perhaps the cold, or the dampness, or the dark, or the wind that howled under the window and tossed the trees aroused the sort of persistent craving for the fantastic. He kept dwelling on images of flowers. He imagined a charming flower garden, a bright, warm, almost hot day, a holiday, Trinity Sunday, a fine, sumptuous country cottage in English taste, overgrown with fragrant flowers, with flower beds going round the house. The porch, wreathed in climbers, was surrounded with beds of roses. A light, cool staircase, carpeted with rich rugs, was decorated with rare plants in china pots. We noticed particularly in the windows nosegays of tender, white, heavily fragrant narcissus, bending over their bright green, thick, long stalks. He was reluctant to move away from them, but he went up the stairs and came into a large, high drawing room, and again, everywhere, at the window, the doors, onto the balcony, and on the balcony itself, were flowers. The floors were strewn with fragrant, freshly cut hay. The windows were open. A fresh, cool, light air came into the room. The birds were chirping under the window, and in the middle of the room, on a table covered with white satin shroud, stood a coffin. The coffin was covered with white silk and edged with a thick white frill. Wreaths of flowers surrounded it on all sides. Among the flowers lay a girl in a white muslin dress, with her arms crossed and pressed on her bosom, as though carved out of marble. But her loose, fair hair was wet. There was a wreath of roses on her head. The stern and already rigid profile of her face looked as though it was chiseled out of marble, and the smile on her pale lips was full of an immense, unchildish misery and sorrowful appeal. Svidrigailov knew that girl. There was no holy image, no burning candle beside the coffin, no sounds of prayers. The girl had drowned herself. She was only 14, but her heart was broken, and she had destroyed herself, crushed by an insult that had appalled and amazed that childish soul, had corrupted that angel purity with unmerited disgrace, and torn from her a last scream of despair, brutally disregarded, dark night in the cold and wet, while the wind howled. Svidrigailov came to, got up from the bed, and went to the window. He felt for a latch and opened it. The wind latched furiously into the little room and stung his face and his chest, nearly covered with his shirt, as though with frost. Under the window there must have been something like a garden, and apparently a pleasure garden. There, too, probably there were tea tables and singing in the daytime. Now drops of rain flew in the window from trees and bushes. It was as dark as in a cellar, so that you only just make out some dark blurs of objects. Svidrigailov, bending down with elbows on the windowsill, gazed for 5 minutes into the darkness. The boom of a cannon, followed by a second one, resounded in the darkness of the night. Ah, the signal! The river is overflowing, he thought. By morning it will be swirling down the street in the lower parts, flooding the basement and cellars. The cellar rats will swim out, and men will curse in the rain and wind as they drag their rubbish to their upper floor. What time is it now? And he had hardly thought it when, somewhere near, a clock on the wall ticked away hurriedly struck tree. Aha! It will be light in an hour. Why wait? I'll go out at once, straight to the park. I'll choose a great bush there drenched with rain, so that as soon as one shoulder touches it, millions of drops drips on one's head. He moved away from the window, shut it, lit the candle, put on his waistcoat, his overcoat, and his hat, and went out, carrying the candle, into the passage to look for the ragged attendant who would be asleep somewhere in the midst of candle ends and all sorts of rubbish, to pay him for the room and leave the hotel. It's the best moment. I couldn't choose a better one. He walked for some time through a long, narrow corridor without finding anyone, and was just going to call out when suddenly, dark corner between an old cupboard and the door, he caught sight of a strange object which seemed to be alive. He bent down with the candle and saw a little girl, a more than 5-year-old, shivering and crying with her clothes as wet as a soaking house flannel. She did not seem to be afraid of Svidrigailov, but looked at him with blank amazement out of her big black eyes. Now and then she sobbed as children do when they have been crying a long time, but are starting to be comforted. The child's face was pale and tired. She was numb with cold. How could she have come here? She must have hidden here and not slept all night. He began questioning. The child suddenly became animated, chattered away in her baby language, something about mother and that mother would beat her, and about some cup that she had broken. The child chattered on without stopping. He could only guess from what she said that she was a neglected child, whose mother, probably a drunken cook in the service of the hotel, whipped and frightened her. That the child had broken a cup of her mother's and was so frightened that she had run away the evening before, had hidden for a long while somewhere outside in the rain, and at last made her way in here, hidden behind the cupboard, and spent the night there, crying and trembling from the damp, the darkness, and the fear that she would be badly beaten for it. He took her in his arms, went back to his room, sat her on the bed, and began undressing her. The torn shoes which she had on her stockingless feet were as wet as if they had been standing in a puddle all night. When he had undressed her, he put her on the bed, covered her up, wrapped her in the blanket from her head downwards. She fell asleep at once. Then he sank into a dreary musing again. Ah, how stupid it was to trouble myself, he decided, suddenly with an oppressive feeling of annoyance. What idiocy! In vexation, he picked up the candle to go and look for the ragged attendant and again leave. Damn the child, he thought as he opened the door, but he turned again to see whether the child was asleep. He raised the blanket carefully. The child was sleeping soundly. She had got warm under the blanket, and her pale cheeks were flushed, but strange to say, that flush seemed brighter and coarser than the rosy cheeks of childhood. Ah, it's a flush of fever, thought Svidrigailov. It was like the flush from drinking, as though she had been given a full glass to drink. Her crimson lips were hot and glowing. But what was this? He suddenly fancied that her long black eyelashes were quivering, as though the lids were opening and a sly crafty eye peeped out with an unchildlike wink, as though the little girl was not asleep, but pretending. Yes, it was so. Her lips parted in a smile. The corners of her mouth quivered, as though she was trying to control them. But now she gave up all effort. Now it was a grin, a broad grin. That there was something shameless, provocative in that quite unchildish face. It was depravity. It was the face of a harlot, the shameless face of a French harlot. Now, both eyes open wide, they turned a glowing, shameless glance upon him. They laughed, invited him. There was something infinitely hideous and shocking in that laugh, in those eyes, in such nastiness in the face of a child. What, a 5-year-old? Svidrigailov muttered in genuine horror. What does it mean? And now she turned to him, her little face all aglow, holding up her arms. Damned child, Svidrigailov cried, raising his hand to strike her, but at the moment he woke up. He was in the same bed, still wrapped in the blanket. The candle had not been lighted, and daylight was streaming at the windows. Ah, I've been having bad dreams all night. He got up angrily, feeling utterly shattered. His bones ached. There was a thick mist outside, and he could see nothing. It was nearly 5. He had overslept. He got up, put on his still damp jacket and overcoat. Feeling the revolver in his pocket, he took it out. Then he sat down, took a notebook out of his pockets, and in the most conspicuous place on the title page, wrote a few lines in large letters. Reading them over, he sank into thought, with his elbows on the table. The revolver and the notebook lay beside him. Some flies woke up and settled on his untouched veal, which was still on the table. He stared at them, and at last, with his free right hand, began trying to catch one. He tried until he was tired, but could not catch it. At last, realizing that he was engaged in this interesting pursuit, he started, got up, and walked resolutely out of the room. A minute later, he was in the street. A thick, milky mist hung over the town. Svidrigailov walked along the slippery, dirty wooden pavement towards the Little Neva. He was picturing the waters of the Little Neva swollen in the night. Petrovsky Island, the wet paths, the wet grass, the wet trees and bushes, and at last the bush. He began, humorously staring at the houses, trying to think of something else. There was not a cabman or a passerby in the street. The bright yellow wooden little houses looked dirty and dejected with their closed shutters. The cold and damp penetrated his whole body, and he began to shiver. From time to time, he came across store signs and read each carefully. At last, he reached the end of the wooden pavement and came to a big stone house. A dirty, shivering dog crossed his path, with its tail between its legs. A man in an overcoat lay dead drunk face downwards across the pavement. He looked at him and went on. A high tower stood up to the left. Bah! He shouted. Here's a place. Why should it be Petrovsky? It will be in the presence of an official witness anyway. He almost smiled at his new thought and turned into the street where there was a big house with a tower. At the great closed gates of the house, a little man stood with his shoulder leaning against them, wrapped in a gray soldier's coat with a copper Achilles helmet on his head. He cast a drowsy and indifferent glance at Svidrigailov. His face wore that perpetual look of peevish dejection, which is so sourly printed on all faces of the Jewish race, without exception. Both of them, Svidrigailov and Achilles, stared at each other for a few minutes, without speaking. At last it struck Achilles that it was unusual for a man not drunk to be standing 3 steps from him, staring and not saying a word. What do you want here? He said without moving or changing his position. Nothing, my friend. Good morning, answered Svidrigailov. This isn't the place. I am going to foreign lands, man. To foreign lands? To America. America. Svidrigailov took out a revolver and cocked it. Achilles raised his eyebrows. I told you, this is no place for jokes. Why shouldn't it be the place? Because it isn't. Well, my friend, I don't mind. It's a good place. When you're asked, you just say he was said to America. He put the revolver to his right temple. You can't do it here, it's not the place, cried Achilles, rousing himself, his eyes growing bigger and bigger. Svidrigailov pulled the trigger. Oh my indeed. Well, this is it for chapter 6. On to chapter 7 tomorrow. This is it for today. Very interesting that he's going to do it in front of a witness, because why not do it in the privacy of a hotel room or, I don't know, the river? Let's just do it in front of this guy that has nothing to do with me. Yeah? That sounds like a good idea. I should do that. Anyway, this is it for today's stream. We read the backstory, we did the mirror dungeon, we did the ID study, and we read our chapter of the book. We are getting ever so close to the end of it. Well, I assume most of you have already left the stream because no one's interested in the book, or at least I assume so, but still, let's do our outro. If you enjoyed the stream, please recommend it to your friends. If you didn't, well, recommend it to your enemies. Thank you all so very, very much. Sweet kisses and goodbye.